Yeah, I
If
don't
you
mind
want to
that.
be perfectly legal,
Absolutely.
then no one can complain, because that way you can use it if someone
Yep,
says.
I have no problem.
Yep.
Other people's content, gotta respect it.
Yep. I'm going to do a round version of it too.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, for the I haven't gotten around to it, but that's one of the things that I'm going to start making a round version for round shields. I'm thinking about the almond and tool shields and stuff.
Did you have fun watching last night?
Yeah, it was good.
They were all excited and
Yeah, I think they had a lot of fun. They were really excited. I got a lot of, it was good vibes from it. And Josh was kind of funny with his background and his that was kind of, yeah.
So we played it up. I put a lot of like Easter eggs in there for like the movie. Like at the very end, the two ogres, Moose and Rocco, are two bouncers in the movie. Yeah, so I just named them that. Yeah, it was funny. Which is cool.
Of the map that much. I can adjust it back and forth a bit. So.
Silicon, one of the first to arrive.
Yeah.
Getting our early start here. Or something like that. Hey Patrick, how are you tonight? You guys hear us loud and clear? Good, yeah. Doing okay. Couldn't sleep last night. Didn't get much sleep, but doing okay. Godfather, hey, good to see you. Awesome. Gotcha! It's a curse. Benson, listening to Joe Rogan cooking dinner. That's good. Get cranked up here. Forward heads up Thursday night skiing will be a Infinite Dimensions giveaway coming up this Thursday. So that'll be cool. Finish up that, and so it was good. Anna, is I don't have to prepare after anything D&D wise till after Thanksgiving. Because,
yeah, the BattleTech, is that easier prep than D&D?
Yes and no, because I haven't done it in over 2 years. So
then you've been rusty. You need to.
Yes, but it's going to be pretty easy.
It will be fun to watch that one.
Yeah.
My only BattleTech experience, or I've seen games at conventions for a few minutes, and they had a computer game version where you're kind of in a cockpit of a mech. I'm not sure if it follows the BattleTech. Yeah, Mech Warrior rules.
Yep.
So that was kind of interesting to look at.
It is. Mech Warrior is the roleplay part of BattleTech, basically.
Okay.
So they call the game. Mech Warrior sounds better for a computer game.
Yeah.
Whew. Hopefully everyone's doing well today. Hit up Gamescape. So finalizing that giveaway from in contest for Gamescape. We're giving away all those great things, including that Gold Dragon and Chaos. So that'll be neat. So what's up, Timina? Good to see you, man. Packed up the dice for Mandy today to get a day ahead. So of that, we only have like 5 giveaways tonight, and I really don't have to do much for him. So Alpha. Yeah, absolutely. Val's all excited. He gets to play. We'll see how excited he is when Tim's barking orders at him. Just kidding. Ever mysterious. It'll be fun. It'll be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Because there is an RP. Yeah, Mech Warrior, there's an RP aspect. So the characters are real people. You know, that pilot them. It's not just
you don't play the mech. You play the
character inside. Yeah, but the combat's all what the mech can do, but the pilot has a lot to do with it. So yeah. So my life goal, I'm going to make a little bit of a joke here, is my life goal is to come on a Sunday night and just out viewership at MCDM one night. That would just make my day. Now that's a long shot and a half, but that would be wonderful to do that once or twice or constantly, right? So we'll see. Whoops, wrong button. A clicking long button. That's not a big deal. All right, it's 6:53. So. A lot of people are still getting, even though it's been weeks, a lot of people are still getting to the 7 o'clock time slot, It's like there's not going to be, Tim's not going to be the only military person, playing this game on this BattleTech game. You know what I mean? Oh, cool, man. I'll take the lurk all every day, Lando. It's cool. Star Trek RPG. It's neat. talk about a lot of different things and some maybe some other classes and stuff. Hey, Megan, thanks. Appreciate it. This will be a fun discussion. Got a lot of fuel in the fire there with a lot of other things going on to talk about. Just waiting for people to come here. You can hear me. That's good. I'm glad that someone can hear me. I'm going to hopefully keep this as additionless as possible, but, there'll be some things that won't be able to happen that way, but it'll be cool. Wiley, Scott, you won the big dice bag last night, right? So I already got packed for it. Yes. VIP lurking. It's all good. Yep. Yes, back. 140 dice. So it's 3 minutes early. So how'd you miss that? It's okay, man. It was late. It was 11:30. You're tired. So yeah, you probably pulled a Gary. Oh, that was mean of me. Thanks, Kithay, for the sub. Thank you so very much. Good evening. I'm Jay Keller Gazumba. I got Anna Meyer with me right at the moment. Thank you, Anna, for coming on for this cool discussion. The ever mysterious Tim will be on at some point. And Chuck Cumbo was scheduled to come on. We'll see if Chuck can make it. He's not. He's feeling a little under the weather. So I was like, don't want to force him. But if you see that underneath me, that's the Adventurer's Backpack. We're going to be doing some discussion about that supplement for Castles and Crusades. And with that, let me set this up. We're going to be doing 5 of those 5 giveaways of the Adventurer's Backpack. Now, the cool thing is that 2 are copies with shipping. And I just lost my, where the heck did it go? There it is.
You lost something.
Yeah, I lost. I'm good.
I know you misplaced the frame here a bit too.
I misplaced something. Yes, so that should pop up. Hopefully that works. There we go. So we're going to give away, and let me show you a bigger picture of it. And because we're going to go back and forth to it, I already have it up here. Yes, the Adventurer's Backpack. 2 physicals with shipping and 3 digitals. All right, so that is one that we're going to do tonight, courtesy of Troller Games. So it's got some really neat things in it. It's a lot of pages too. Let me see, it's just acknowledgments. Let me see here. It's fairly large. Yeah, it's 150 pages roughly. It's almost out there. They do a lot of things: magic items, the known planes, battle mounts, unarmed combat, equipment, classes, and that's where we're going to concentrate some stuff on for this discussion tonight. There's a couple that Chuck had brought up to me there. So yeah, this is a great book, and we'll go over this as we go into our discussion tonight. So this, of course, started with always like spells, Anna. Oh, I did move something.
There you go.
What your spells, and you talked about you were doing a lot more editing Pathfinder wise in 5e now, but
yeah, Pathfinder was my heyday of changing things and stuff. And back in 3.5, but 3.5 was such an onslaught of new stuff in 3rd edition that I didn't feel like I needed to tweak much with it myself. We just try to digest everything that came out and just play with it. So Pathfinder was the time when I felt like it was an extension to 3rd edition, and I felt like I started to. That's probably the system I feel I've had the most kind of knowledge of that I can. Okay. And magic is kind of the trickiest bit to tweak in a way, because you can kind of make things overly powerful or clunky or kind of break the game the easiest, so to speak, when it comes to spells and stuff. So that's why I've tweaked it the least. But in Pathfinder, I felt like, I needed to change things. And I often change other things and what the PCs will have, so to speak. So I changed basically the low end and the high end. I tweaked the cantrips and added more cantrips and low-powered versions of higher-level spells.
Okay.
That was one of my mainstays, so to speak. For instance, like the Melv's Acid Arrow, I made a cantrip version of it that just shoots one little acid arrow. That was a little bit different from the standard acid splash. I wanted something that was a little bit more fun, but that you can actually target, so to speak, and use. So that was one of the things I did. And I also tweaked at the higher end, introducing magic that is more powerful than the 9th level. That was not intended for players to play with primarily. It was something that the players would encounter as big encounters, so to speak, something that will go on in the background and cause mayhem for the players to stop.
Well,
yeah.
That's cool as far as ritual magic and super high level. Some books call it 10th level magic. Some call it ritual.
Yeah. I didn't have a name for it. I just started. Yeah, I started to just tweak the basic premises for it, so to speak.
Minnie, roll over to the other side.
Yep. Minnie was nagging at me. She's had her food here, so now I. So give her some treats.
A couple of quick things. Thank you everyone for a wonderful night last night. I want to do this. I want to shout out all Mandy, but Little Bones and Darling Creep Show. And if you didn't get a chance, follow all their streams, please.
Yeah, I think you all did a great job. Thanks. Everyone involved yesterday. It was a lot of fun and a lot of bantering and fun stuff. So that was.
And
good.
Josh was kind of like the wild card, which you need occasionally in there. A little bit of the comic relief mixed in with a couple other things, which made it really cool for him. It felt fun. And like I said, I threw some Easter eggs in there for jokes. And then some other things down the road. I mean, we're working on a lot of stuff, and I did. So note that this is number 170. You're going to have to wait 3 weeks, not for the next Gabbin, but for the next Gabbin with a monster name in it. As I've locked down Ed Greenwood again for December 5th. I got Ed Greenwood coming on Gabbin again. So Secret Societies of Greyhawk and the Realms. So just note that is 3 weeks from tonight. I got Ed coming back on. Eric Menge's a probable, but so just wanted to lay that out there. And that's the next big monster Gabbin we'll have. But we'll have some good shows within the next 3 weeks. And Ed is fun. He is a ball of laughs, really, and great. And he'll definitely give us some really cool new lore again. And Trembling, thanks for that compliment. So here's for me, and this is one of those that we've broken down a lot of the classes, and I don't know if I can do this in one night, but oops, I just dropped a book. So here are my custom books, and most of these spells within these books are either photocopied from Dragons or Great Net Spellbook books or our own. I mean, so this is out of my library. The class book, the Necromancer book, the Illusionist, Wild Mage, Shadow Mage book, all 6 Elementalists, and a whole bunch of miscellaneous straight magic user spells. There they are, all those right there in that. Now that is my repertoire of goodness, with this exception. Now, this is not the entire pile, but I tried. This is just I'm gonna get a hernia here. So this is my books to get most of those spells out of publications.
Yeah. but you done the good. That's what I did. I started in Evernote, and now I use other tools to kind of put them all into your own medium, so to speak, because you can't go around looking for all the. Yeah, I mean that's something I think every DM who keeps running his own or her own campaign for long term. That's one of the key things, that you put all the stuff in there so you can tweak it and add your own versions and names and variants and whatnot.
And our number one problem. Oh, comes Blue Box. Awesome.
Hi, awesome.
Hey, Evie and crew. I hope you had a great monster show. Thank you so very much for coming in here. Let me hit up a shout out. That very kind of you. Thank you. Please, we got 5 giveaways from Troller Games tonight. All the Adventures backpack, 2 physicals, 3 digitals of it. Please stick around, hang out. If you got something to do, lurk, come back, or whatever, But we really appreciate it, and we're gonna have a couple other guests coming on. Hopefully, at least 1, definitely, and 2 maybe. So. Your work in D&D is never done, and I'm going to give you an example of that. Hey, Mike, good to see you too, Mike. Let me hit you with a shout out here,
Hello.
Mike. Another Blue Box is fantastic. I'm glad you guys had a great show, and let me hit up that with give Mike Dizzy shot. These Wizard spell compendiums. Now, I got these a year or 2 ago. I'm still not through them. I think I'm midway through the 2nd book, and I've added some spells in.
Yeah,
But this is
I
like,
have them too.
yeah, this is like every publication from the 1st and 2nd edition era of a spell somewhere, and it's a really, really, it's a slow slog because I check every single spell for.
They made one for 3rd edition too.
They did? Oh, cool.
Yep. Hang on a second.
Very, very cool.
It's only
there.
1 book. I don't know if it's actually that complete, but here is a 3rd edition or 3.5 edition.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Spell.
Yeah, I don't know if that's all. If that's these 4 books. I mean, there's references. There's spell. If you can get a copy of these, I would highly recommend it. These are tough to get in full sets. Get one at a time. Or can you get these? Anyone know? Are these available in PDF off of drive-through?
That is something that
I don't know if they are or not. But
I have to check.
They're pretty cool. Like I said, I haven't gotten through them yet. But so. Question, you can. That's good, Sparky.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
Yep.
Question
awesome.
1: where do you start? So, what I would suggest is the following, and this is keep it edition neutral as much as possible. Take whatever you have with your game, whether it is, and decide what you want to improve. You haven't seen them, Patrick? Okay. What you want to improve in your game? Do you want more classes, or do you want more spellcasting classes, or do you want your spellcasters have more option to spells? And I say that because they're 2 entire different things. You're gonna. Oh my gosh! Wow!
Wow!
We feel blessed
Hi,
now. Kayla, Time Lord's wife, now in as well. Wow, that is fantastic. Hey, Cassie, good to see you. Thank you so very much for coming in, Kayla. Appreciate it. Once again, sign up. Everyone's free. Feel free to sign up for the 5 Troller Game giveaways. We're talking and expanding your spells in your campaign. Thank you all. Hey, Guild Superior, good to see you too. We just announced that Ed Greenwood's coming back to Gabbin in 3 weeks from tonight, by the way, for a Forgotten Realms Greyhawk discussion. So that was what we were talking about. Hey, Jose. Jose is speaking of that, Jose, has you and Eric gotten together on a date on a Wednesday night for the Feywild discussion on Legends and Lore, which we're trying to schedule.
We want to cover that topic.
Yes,
definitely.
Yes, we want to get into that one as well.
I love my Feywild.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be a wonderful, wonderful show. Awesome. Yep. Very cool, Jose.
Good.
Just sit down with us and we'll figure out a date, and we'll have, hopefully before Christmas, we'll have a great show on that too. So we've got a lot of great content coming up for everyone. And Truck Controller Games was going to be here, but he's not feeling well, and the ever mysterious Tim will be in shortly. Talk about a new class that he's making for my campaign, which scares me. Well, no, it's just Tim. I'm just kidding for the most part. So, so start with the following. No matter what edition you're playing, do you want more spells for your spellcasters, more variety, or do you want more classes? And make that decision first. I think that's what I would do. So, for example, when we started back in the day, there's a magic user and illusionist, right? It's just not enough. 1st edition, that's it.
And spell the actual I was going to say the where the difference is spell schools were not that much defined early on either, so there wasn't much ground for various specialists. That it came later in 2nd edition and stuff. You got the spell school became more defined, and but you were early in creating the Necromancer and a bunch of others, I guess.
Yeah, so Necromancer was my first by far. Tim isn't that scary, but Lee, you haven't known him for 42 years like I have. He has his moments. So, yes. So far, he hasn't been scary lately. but he does have his moments. Yeah. So early on, I'm like, there's not enough necromancy. There just isn't. There should be. Why isn't there? And there are no witches either, right? Why aren't there witches?
And yeah, and all you younger people who weren't around before second and third edition, you have to realize that there was nothing cool like necromancy and stuff like that. It was just a footnote in
Yes.
the first player's handbook and the early books, meaning the necromancer came in
That's
second
okay for
edition.
that.
That was like the first, and then the third edition you had all these kind of cool specializations. But early on there were not.
None.
The illusionist was the only one that got a special.
And it was weak. It was
exactly. It was
extremely
weak and weird, kind of, and yeah.
Yeah. So if you haven't ever looked at the first edition Art Arcana, and if you have a hard copy of it and it's not falling apart, then you got a later print. Oh my gosh, let me split these books in half before I kill myself. So the first time there's a major enhancement is oh my gosh, this is a beat up copy. An Art Arcana. So in Art Arcana, they decide to add spells, and a lot of the spells are but a lot of the spells are cool. This is the first appearance of Mel's Acid Arrow, Mel's Minute Meteors. As far as Illusionist goes, Chromatic Orb, Tempest Fugit, Mislead. Some really good spells there that came at that time. Delude's another good one. As far as magic user spells, Volley, which is really dangerous. Mordenkaina's Magnificent Mansion appears in Unearthed Arcana. Contingency is another one. So there was a Chain Lightning. Everyone knows that spell. Avard's Black Tentacles first appears. So this is a first edition step, which was in the right direction. This actually fleshes out illusionists so that they could actually be more functioning. The base first edition illusionists without Unearthed Arcana is really tough to play. So Unearthed Arcana and Famous for the weak. But yes, as you can see, if I open this thing up, the stuff's going to fall out all over the place. So. That's one of those. They had to wait for more players to die. That's funny. Well, Cynic, that's kind of a joke, but it's. I don't know if they were just. The game was very base back then, and we needed a necromancer. You wanted an evil nemesis spellcaster, and so I created the necromancer with what I could. And then,
that all the intent as a NPC class, or was it also something that you thought player characters could, or was it structured as a player, a full class, so to speak?
It was an NPC class because Len had his Deathmaster out, if I recall correctly, and I'm like, good idea, Len, but it's chaotic evil only.
Yeah.
There should be a necromancer. There should be a step down below from a Deathmaster.
Yeah, because the Dungeon Master's Guide had these kind of NPC classes that were weaker and structurally different, so to speak, from the players' PC classes.
Yeah, and that would, yes, absolutely. So with that, and then when second edition came out, and of course, I forget that book, and I forget to put it in the scroller, comes the complete book of Necromancers. If you can find that book for under $100
I'll
and hard copy, buy it. Okay, because that is like a fantastic book. That is a great book. So with that, when I bring out the Necromancer,
this one,
there you go.
Part of that blue DM line that is fantastic. Yep.
So I want everyone to note the following: when you have your spell list, this is going to sound weird. So you have your Unearthed Arcana spell list here. Okay. So you have 40 spells at first. Okay. I don't know how many spells I have at first for a straight mage. I just don't know. Because I've
probably
never
up to like 200 or something like that.
It could be, yeah.
If you took all the resources at the end of first edition, it was several hundred, I think, especially in the first level, second level, there were lots of them.
Yeah, including all the Greenwood stuff. Which
you took all the other stuff, then you had hundreds of them in the first.
And let me tell you something. Ed gave you license to steal, of course, and Jay, all right. I thought I brought them down. Oh, here they are. So here's some great. The pages from the mages, right? All right. steal it for all the
Yep.
spells from
And
Seven
rename
Sisters,
some of them if need be, and
Drow the Underdark. All have great
Yep.
spells in them.
Mhm.
And some of these I could use for other classes, because as we talked with Eric Boyd, Eric Boyd developed the Elementalist, or did he develop the Wild Mage? I just lost my
Yep.
mind. He developed the Wild Mage. He developed the Wild Mage, and then the Elementals came. So there were great additions. I'm like, cool. We can. I didn't like the way they did the spheres on it. So I'll show them in a second. But if you notice to this Necromancer spell list, these are all the spells that the Necromancer has. Third level spells, 38. So that's a fair number. As you can see, I don't even have 7th level spells on the other side, and it only goes up to 7th like Illusionist, not 9th in old school. But with that, I was able to, and I keep on adding to this day, and that's the thing.
Yeah.
When you have, is it stealing if Ed gives us permission? Lee, Ed wants us to, and like I said, Ed will be on in 3 weeks again. I talked to him today. He wants us to utilize his stuff, and he really loves. He really loves how much his community's reached out to him, which is a great stuff. That's Galgar. Morning Cadence kind of ruins Lehman's a little bit, but just make it a rare spell, right? I mean, sometimes there's certain spells that, and here's the thing with Ed's spells, they're kind of freaking nasty, and you got to really be careful. So, idea number 2: playtest and judge these spells as to if you want them in when you find some. So, for example, if you take, and Lando linked it in 5e, and I really appreciate that on Cannon Fire. You take Agonizer Scorcher, and this is an example of a spell I used against Ed and you guys last week, which is a Forgotten Realms spell. I don't know how Ed has that spell at 2nd level. There's no saving throw on any of it. So I made it in my game. It's 4th. I said to Ed, I said, this is not 2nd level spell in our game. This is 4th level
I think
spell.
that's wise. When you take things into your campaign, you should kind of take it in and adjust it a little bit up and down. And I think that's something I did when I had players who played various spellcasters, and they say, "Oh, I researched and invent a spell," and they wanted to invent it. I deliberately underpowered it to begin with, and that way simply saying that, well, you're still learning it, so you haven't used the full potential. And then when we can see that it was definitely underpowered, so to speak, and they say that, oh, I want to cast it at a higher level, and then we tweaked it in. So they say we're aiming for like a 2nd level spell, and then I kind of made it weak to begin with, and then when it was kind of underpowered, then we powered it up, or we simply say, well, or lowered the level, so to speak, and that way you can kind of dial it up and down a little bit in a few adventures, with the pretext that the caster is actually, or the character is actually learning to figure it out, so to speak, or something, tweak it.
And that's a great point. So a lot of things I will play test as with the bad guys get first, always. Or if one of my guys come to me with an idea, and then we'll go, well, look, we're gonna not like this
you
class.
You can do a test session too. You can just make a mock combat against a couple of enemies and just see how it plays out in a kind of a pit fight or something.
Yeah, and Lee brings up a good point there, allowing them to create spells. I do, but I really go over fine-tooth comb with them.
Yeah.
Because one little tweak of a spell, like one, and I'm going to show it to you tonight. I'm not going to embarrass Tim, but I'm going to say, you're going to see my no just no emote tonight, which will be cool. Hey, David, good to see you.
And it's also, I think, as a player, at least, it's much more difficult psychologically to have something nerfed that used to work better. So it's better to have it underpowered to begin with, and then you kind of ease into it as the campaign progresses, and things get better, and then you establish it down the line, so to speak.
Yeah, and that's a thing that Galgar brings up. Acquisition of spells that a lot of people do differently, from scrolls, from tomes.
Yeah.
Leveling up is a bone of contention. How do you get spells? That's a good point, and a lot of we do special bonuses by class. We do some special different things. You must join the guild in a major city. All this,
Yeah.
you know. So you can't just say, "Well, I leveled up. I get 2 spells." You know.
Yeah.
So
For me,
thanks.
it's yeah. For me, what I do is that what I did when I because we haven't had much spellcasters yet in this campaign, and we hadn't played that long, so it hasn't been an issue yet. But when I played in Pathfinder in my Shieldlands campaign, what we did was that a wizard or someone who wizards and sorcerers, they could say that I want to learn this spell leveling up, so to speak, and then they basically researched it while they were gaining the experience to level up to the next level, and then they picked one spell, and then they got one spell from the player's handbook, a common one for free, so to speak, when they leveled up.
Common.
That was one of them, and the other ones they had to either get someone to teach them, or they had to find it on a scroll or a spell book they could write it off, or go to a big city and buy it from someone, or something. So those were so usually getting a scroll was the easiest way to do it, or finding another spellcaster that could teach.
Yes.
Those were the obvious ways to get more spells. So instead of I try to nerf. A lot of DMs want to nerf spellcasters mechanically, say that it takes a long time to reach to get your spells back, and so on and so forth. I try to nerf them more kind of in game by making it a little bit more difficult to find the spells, and so on and so forth, because these are, especially high level powerful spells, are like state secrets that the only powerful wizards they hold on to them because they don't want them used against them, so to speak. So really powerful spells are hard to come by. And another underutilized aspect are material components.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah, the average components like a dead spider and stuff like that, but these pricey ones, so to speak, and even things like sulfur and a 1,000 gold piece diamond and stuff like that might be hard to find. And then you have, for instance, I invented a spell, one of my players invented a spell that he can turn himself into a dragon. And that was a very powerful spell. So I realized we need to have something very limiting on the spell, so to speak. It was like a 6th level spell or something. We figured it out. But what you need to do, you need to have a scale from the dragon as a material component from the dragon you want to turn yourself into, so to speak.
It.
So that will significantly limit the spells, so to speak, and make it really tricky. So that was the as a focus, I think we ended up. So you don't need to. So that way you could only you got the kind of the honor of, so some dragon kind of gave you a scale to say that, okay, now you can be my human buddy, so to speak, or something. So that was so there are many ways you can kind of limit the spell use other than just nerfing the spell. So there, and you can nerf the access to it and stuff. So but all had trade-offs, because once you give them the spell, then they can shoot and flash and bang like crazy.
Yeah, that's so true.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I'll just show you the secret to my mess here on something. So this is my miscellaneous magic user spell list book, and these spells come from different publications. And what a mess! Are you ready for this page?
Well, you have some handwritten notes and stuff. You need to digitize that and then print it out or something.
All right, that's just GreatNet Spellbook spells plus some other things. Wait a minute.
Yeah.
Okay, here's another list. Not magic spells not listed in Arcane with the reference. All right, that's another list. Complete Wizard's Handbook spells. There's another list of approved. Pages from the Mages spells.
There you go. One of the things that I've done when I there you go. When I put spells in digitally register them in database, I started out with the Microsoft Access database back in first edition, and then I've upgraded to have Evernote and stuff. Now I'm using Notion for it, and what I've done is that I've classified the spells. Yeah, due to if it's like an attack spell, a utility, and stuff like that. Some of these things are obvious due to the school, but some of it is not, because I wanted to classify them so I know that, okay, I want something frost that you can damage something with, or I want something that protects from fire or something like that. I can easily tag and search all the spells on these kind of from a utility perspective, which is when you run games is really useful. So now I'm going into 5th edition, so now I have to start that from scratch again, which is a huge undertaking. So I'm not sure I want to change game. I definitely don't want to change game system ever, edition ever again.
Well,
this is
you're not gonna.
That's so now I'm still contemplating which one to go to. So yeah, it's because it's such a huge undertaking. I still feel naked when I'm running 5e games, and the spells and magic is the major contribution to this, I think.
So Rob, that's awesome, and we would have had Chuck on, but he kind of last hour before this show started not feeling well. So I was like, no problem. Just note, he hasn't given me the codes for this yet, but it's Chuck is good as his word. So for the adventurers backpacks. Gosh, where was it? I was going to go somewhere, and now
Jay, I need to ask you: have you introduced cantrips in your campaign? No, exactly. You don't have cantrips. No,
but Tim has,
okay,
and a lot of other players have. And here's my reasoning: they don't need them in my game. They don't. I mean, see what I do, and a lot of the number one complaint in old school is the following: I can't cast enough spells.
Mm-hmm.
So we have incorporated certain feats into 1e2e, and we've incorporated. I have items. If you notice, a lot of the items that I think even Emery has one. Like she's got a spellcaster's robe that gives you a bonus 3rd slot.
Yeah, and you have these kind of very
extra spell slot
exactly, you can cast one extra. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So and a lot of cool things there. That's a good thing, Lando, is that there's a lot of companies coming out with some great stuff that you can utilize. But so you take your work, do what works for your people, your players, and I do not want.
But you have
2 points around, 2 points around, 2 points around. That feels too much like a video game. I don't want that.
Yeah, but you also have staged cool pitched battles in the set kind of arena, so to speak. That they come to this location, and then you have
have at it. Yes,
exactly, and a quick, so to speak. I have more drawn out battles over longer time and over large areas and stuff. So you can often. I don't want the spellcasters to feel like they run out of spells. I want them to have at least something useful to blast or do something constantly, so to speak. Just like a fighter can always take a bow and shoot. So that's why I introduced, and I also had some cantrips that had a little bit longer range, and that was what I loved with Pathfinder 2. That the cantrips scaled up as the casters got more powerful. The cantrips also got more powerful. So the cantrips were useful even at higher levels, so to speak.
Right. So the one thing I don't like, and I just don't like it in 5e, is the repeat. Okay, so there's a 3.5 spell compendium available for the drive-through, not the 2nd edition. The one you have, Anna, is available. Yeah. Patrick just linked it. Thank you.
Okay, good.
Oh, thank you, Trembling. Yep. That was really very nice of you to say. Thank you. Mm-hmm. Yes. Thank you for the very kind words. So I know we got a lot of people that came in from the raids, and I said it right before we started, before Blue Box came in, and before Tamler's wife came in, and that is the Slav squatters, which I didn't know that was a thing until last night, until Little Bones told me what the hell it was. I had no idea what that meant, and neither did Josh. We were like, we were completely lost there. And the Slav squatters will be back soon, very soon. And it's max so much that we're commissioning Mandy and Myriad to have all custom portraits for them instead of Portrait Workshop for the other ones. So it's exclamation drawings, Soma. So they will be back soon. Everyone had such a fun time last night. It was a great, and 4 hype trains. That was insane. Thank you, everyone. We're looking forward to it, to keeping on going with that. But one of the things that you gotta, like, when you're doing this, start somewhere and don't This is 40 years. Don't worry. Oh my God, I want to add 1,000 spells. Add 10. Pick 10.
Mm-hmm.
Like start small. 10 is a huge. If you do like 2 firsts through fifths each, it's a huge change. And I'm gonna tell you 2 reasons why. Your players are going to notice it and thank you for it instead of casting the same old fireballs and lightning bolts. And you're going to be able to throw a wrench at your old time players you have in your group, and they're not going to see the spell coming, or they're not going to see, it's like throwing a new monster at them, and it doesn't matter if it's 5th edition, 4th, whatever, or Pathfinder, whatever you do. So start small and pick some. And you could just take a random book.
I was just going to say, take spells that meaning now you have spell compendiums online and stuff, meaning there are thousands of spells. So you can just pick and choose something interesting and introduce them as needed, so to speak. Don't introduce them just because I need lots of spells just for flavor, but pick them for make them useful, so to speak, or some signature kind of cool thing that some, especially like villains and stuff, should have magic that is
I love
different from the standard trope. And yeah, Jake.
I was so happy when I got to ask Azure Scorcher because I know I wrote that spell. I was like, I was so happy when I got to do that. So go ahead.
Have you experimented with other forms of casting spells rather than just the normal rules for? I'm thinking for villains and stuff, to make them that goes off the rules in different ways.
Like we're not big into meta magic now, but we are big into a couple things, and we're big into adding certain enhancements to feats because it works well with our proficiency system. For example, Necromancers are big using the spectral hand spell, where they can go touch spells at a distance. Also, if you are like a priest of Ouija or a priest of Ayuz, you get access to Necromancy Sphere. You can actually cast your clerical spells through this spectral hand because it's part of a clerical list now, which is really neat. So you can actually heal at distance, which is a cool thing. So we've added battle touch enhancements. We've added enhanced ranges. We've added enhanced durations of spells as feats. We've added this is a big one in our game: magic resistance reduction. It's a huge thing, especially going up against dark elves, or you're going up against anything that has a huge MR in old school. So those things we've added in as feats so that spellcasters have them. And then we have a couple other things that we've added as well. Let me, if it's okay, I'm going to show you an example of a spell I cast last night, and let's find it. Okay. So, do you all remember when the fight started last night? Tanya Darkheart, they came in and they're fighting, and she cast this spell, Iron Butterflies. And everyone goes, wow, I've never seen that spell before. Okay, so if we come here, let's go to here's the book. This is Elementalists. Okay, now there are 4 Elementalists in the Tome of Magic: air, earth, fire, water. They can use, this is what I don't like, airs can use all but earths. Fires can use all but waters, but they got to use mostly their own. I think that's stupid. I want fires just use fire spells and base magic user spells that aren't elementalists of other elementalist spells. Does that make sense? They can cast detect magic, they can cast magic, but they're not casting a fire elemental.
So you don't want them to be elemental specialists. You want them to be fire specialists or earth specialists or water specialists. Okay.
Absolutely. So we have 6. We also have para, which is all the mixed crap. Salt, ooze, magma,
smoke,
salt, the whole deal. And then we have quasi, lightning, radiance.
Magicians are an underrated sort.
Oh my gosh!
Yes, ooze specialist.
Yes,
I never used one, but I've planned but I'll come to that. Okay, please continue.
Kitano, that's cool, man. Quasi is very powerful too. It's electrical, radiance, magnetism. That's what quasi gets. And I got that from the quasi elemental lightning. I'm like, why is it called that? Hey, I'll call my elementals quasi elementalist because of that. All right, so we go here and we're going to find that spell. And this is simply what you can do. If you notice, it's recent. So if you look here, I have handwritten it in Iron Butterflies in the 4th level spell section with a reference, R2 page 122. All right. So I've done the research, and I have come and I go to If you don't have these books, I recommend them highly. And Anna has these too, and that is these Sword and Sorcery 3rd edition Relic and Rituals and Relic and Rituals 2.
Yes, yeah.
These are
this one.
great.
And there's another one. Occult Lore has some weird magic stuff in them too, and there's some other stuff. Path of Magic from Legends and Lairs. I forgot. Fantasy Flight games. These are old 3rd edition from the Glut era, so to speak.
3rd edition had a lot of great stuff in it, and I take it. Oh, by the way, this is a great book too. The Relic and Rituals Excalibur. It's ultra rare. It's very tough to get a hold of, but you could probably find it still. All right, so those. So we go here and we go to page 122. Relic and Rituals. Wait a minute. I'm not thinking. I already have this preset on here.
When it comes to Elementalist, I did a villain that was an Elementalist. That was a hag. That was she was an Elementalist, and as a villain, and I was kind of extra nasty because she didn't cast spells the normal way. So what she did was that when she had access to fire, like she had her hand in the fire, she could cast fire spells continuously every round as long as she had, and she had certain runes on certain spots. So when she had the hands in the mud, she can cast muddy spells and so on and so forth. So she had her lair was full of these little places where she had, when she was in certain squares, she had access to certain types of things. Then she could cast spells every round, and there was no limit, but he can only do it from then and there, so to speak.
So they had to get her either extinguish that
but
fire.
they didn't understand that, so they were like terrified in the beginning when she started hurling things like crazy after them, so to speak.
Here we go.
And so before they realized, it was like, is she like 9th level? She never runs out and stuff. So they were like terrified of her that way. But she was very, very powerful, but only then and there within that range. She couldn't go anywhere else and cast. So you can tweak certain things. I was thinking you can have an Ayusium priest that can cast cool spells and effects if they have the skulls of certain things that are prepped to do it, or within I've had evil clerics that can only cast, they're way more powerful in their own sanctified or unhallowed ground, so to speak, within their own temples. They are way beefier, but as soon as they come out in the general area, they lose half their potency.
That is a great discussion as well of a further enhancement step. So you create a specialty priest, but they have one step further based on location or based on.
So you can do things like
phases of the moon. Who knows? Whatever.
Exactly. These are other dimensions. You can think rock magicians. You can think and stuff like that. They can have their magic stored in clunky items and stuff like that. And when they have access to them, then they can do things like rune magic and stone rock magic. You can think of all sorts of interesting things.
And I tell you who got NPC magic. Who got this right in 1st edition? Dragonlance. They had red and white wizards, remember?
Yeah.
And it was based on the phases of the moon. Their power increased or waned, which is kind of cool.
Exactly. You have
Dragonlance
stuff like
kind
that
of got it right back then.
Yeah, and I think
different.
it's cool to introduce some of these dimensions that makes spellcasters diversified in their powers, and so they're not all the standard wizard that every player knows that it's a wizard or a cleric. Exactly, you need to have tweak, and especially weird monsters like ogre magi or hags or night hags and other spell casting monsters can be tweaked in weird, cool ways that way.
So one thing, if you do not have this is a free download. Probably everyone does, but if you don't, that is the Player's Handbook 7th edition. It's a free download from Troller Games. Just click on that link, and you can put it in your cart, and you can get it free. So there you go on that right there. That's in addition to the 5 giveaways tonight.
Yeah, I can be a bit harsh. My campaigns are kind of sandboxy, meaning an enemy is there whether they are 1st level or 20th level. So yeah. So
it's rough. Anne and Tim are got a similar style. Yes.
Yeah, very similar in that way. In many
Definitely.
ways. Yeah.
So here's Iron Butterflies right in the R2, page 122. And one thing Elementalists can do, they can cast 1 spell per day at 1 to 4 levels higher. It's got to be one of their own elements. So she was 7th and zonked this up to 9th. And that's why it was 9-4 damage last night. Yeah. And so it tells you, it's basically it's very similar to a cone of cold or a cone of metal shards, which that exists in Great Net Spellbook for an Earth Elementalist, and I pulled that out years ago. So if you and that's another great resource is if you can find a copy of it, the Great Net Spellbook. There are thousands, but let me tell you something. There's a lot of crazy spells you'll never use, and a lot of stuff you're like, who wrote this? You know, so you gotta really, really go through that. But yeah, so this is the spell, and here's a great thing: any Fae within the spell's area receive a -4 penalty to save against this spell. So I love that, and also yeah. They have to make a con check as well, a concentration check. So it's nastier. This Iron Butterfly spell, and there's a picture right next to it. And
Yeah,
that's
I was
cool.
just going to say to Boogers is that hag covens are something that I've used several times just for that purpose, meaning they cast communal spells and rituals that are way more powerful than they can do individually. So yeah.
So here's a thing, Tino, and everyone else, you'll know this name. Because I have a witch. I'm trying to get Timothy S. Brennan on. I mean, he's the connoisseur of the witch since first edition.
Oh
That's
yes.
so
Yeah.
I'm trying to get him on a Gabbin, and then we can go hardcore into the witches covens and all the other sorts of great stuff he has for all editions. Because he did
Yeah.
it from first all the way through fifth. He's got publications.
Oh,
So
awesome.
yeah, hopefully we'll be able to get him on in the near future. It would be great, But for in the meantime, we'll settle for Ed Greenwood. So
Yeah.
all right. So if you didn't hear, Ed Greenwood slapped me on Twitter. All right, I think Phantom saw it. I think a couple other people saw it. Check these out. He's a good guy. Put down. So what was one of the most improbable things you didn't even realize you did in D&D? And I put down. I woke up and I realized I had I had the longest campaign in existence going on, approaching 42 years. And then so it's like, oh, because he knows me and stuff. And then Ed Greenwood responds back and says, well, yeah, you like that, Rob? Ed goes, well, let's see, you're close, but I think I'm at 44 years, and I know that mine's been continuously running, but I'll give you have the longest one in the United States because I'm Canada. So, yeah, I'm like, Ed, I defer to you 100%. So I'm going to say I have the longest in Greyhawk. Because you can't, I can't compete with Ed on that. Ed's Ed, right? So that was pretty
Yep.
cool. Yeah, Witch is a cool class. So, do you have any suggestions for rules regarding ritual community cast spells? All right, so here we go.
Yeah.
Anna has them in here. Let's go to Relkin Rituals 1. Oh no, you know what? I think it's in here. I think it's in 2. So there you go. This is good. Now we never get to this level on rituals, but they have true rituals right here. There's complete rules on it in both books. So Anna, why don't you talk about yours?
Well, yeah. What I wanted to do several things. First of all, that weaker and especially monster spellcasters. I was thinking hags and others who have very limited magical abilities that are not true wizards or anything like that. They can actually gang together and cast higher level spells as a group. And I was especially thinking things like curses, divinations, and stuff like that, and buff spells and so on. They can cast that on the group, so to speak, and area things and scrying and stuff like that. Something they can do communally. But then I also started tweaking with really powerful magic. Wanted to think, okay, what about the invoke devastation and whatnot? Meaning, how do these things actually work? Can I use level a city and godlike creatures? Can I actually torch like the whole landscape? And we have 9th level spells, but they are very limited when it comes to area of effect. So they can be very, very powerful, but in a small area. And what about things that are kind of less powerful, but can cover square miles rather than a few hundred square feet, so to speak, or 100 by 100 feet? So I was starting to think that, okay, 10th level and higher levels of magic, and my idea, I never put it into actual use. I I had a couple of incidents in my Reldevin campaign where they were starting it, and what I did was that you can have several powerful creatures casters. So if they, and then it was the Crandons that started casting stuff to scry, and so Crandon, and he had his Council of Eldritch Magic. That's what they do. So they cast like really high level spells, and then they come together, and it takes days to cast it, hours to days, depending on, so to speak. So. And what happens is that you can affect things like miles away and whole areas. You can scry, you can hurt, harm, heal, and various things like that over square miles, like miles in radius. And also, but it also takes each round, so to speak, it's 6 hours. And that's my rough. It was not firm rules. I just started to play with it because I wanted to see if it worked in a campaign setting, so to speak. So I started saying it's 6 hours, so it's 4 rounds per day that you have to cast, and the spellcasters had to come together and be in the same spot and do their chanting, writing, and all that, and cast, and they had to do their knowledge, arcane, and spellcraft check in order to kind of progress. And the other key thing is that as the spell and the ritual ramping up in effect, it's detectable. You can cast if you're anywhere near. I took the rule of thumb that twice the area of effect. If the area of effect is 1 mile from the caster, then 2 miles away you can detect it at least. So therefore you can cast detect magic and you can notice it's going on. And then you can either try to disrupt it by chanting against it, or you can start running in there and disrupt it physically by attacking the spellcasters, so to speak, or taking their material components or something like that. So I wanted to introduce time in a different scale, which when you scale up the power of spell casting significantly, then I played with 2 things: casting time, I prolonged it, and area of effect, I enlarged it enormously. But the spells weren't particularly powerful. You couldn't kill everybody within 10 miles or 100 miles away, but you could definitely do all the normal spell effect, but over a huge area instead of just a small area, so to speak. Those were the main parameters that I tweaked. So longer lasting, or spells that took a long time to cast and covered a great huge area or radius instead of the normal, so to speak. That was the main. And I was thinking about ramping it up eventually too, saying that if you're a deity, you start playing with that yourself, so to speak, meaning a god doesn't need a lot of meaning I use, if he's a demigod, means that he can cast some of this magic by himself, but it will take him the same amount of hours in order to do it, or it might take him a day or 2 in order to do some really fancy big effect, which means that everybody in the vicinity can sense that eventually they can sense that the world is literally going to hell and the clouds are coming and doom is coming, so to speak. So you get a chance to run away if need be, and then you can save versus the effect.
So, just for example, in this book,
Yeah.
Band of Mesos negates the magical ability of one creature for 1 year per level. Casters
There you
required
go.
is
Yep.
9, right?
Mhm.
Yeah. So there you go,
Yep.
and it's
Yep.
just like, oh my
Mhm.
gosh. So
Yeah.
you know, you get the idea. City of
Exactly.
the Dead
Yeah.
converts all the inhabitants of an area into undead.
Yeah, exactly. That was something I played with. You can master it, and you can also dispel magic within a huge area and stuff like that. Disruption and stuff. You can kill, destroy undeads within a large area, and all sorts of cool stuff. So open portals. You can simply bring in the abyss into several square miles and stuff like that to call in demons. And I was thinking, and elves and others could open it the same thing to the Feywild or something. So there's plenty of these kind of cool things you could do with it, but I think you should stay away from actual just harming people like an enormous fireball and meteor craters everywhere and stuff. That at least it should be something. Yeah, and it should also give ample warning, so to speak. It should be something that you give like a day in warning, so you can every player character that are in the area could sense that something is coming, the world is coming to an end, so to speak, and give you a chance, so to speak. That I think that's important.
So rituals, there's different rules in different spots for them in synopsis.
I've seen
on that,
3,
yeah.
4 different versions. I think I have 2 different books. So I've
Celtic.
seen other versions of these rules. So there's several, especially in 3rd edition, there was several different variants of these rules out.
So what is cool about it is that, once again, you can tweak the game to whatever you want because you're the DM, and that is the wonderful thing about D&D. So here's example number 2. And Gallagher, I'm going to get to what you posted here too, and I really appreciate your forethought on that. And team's not on yet, so we have a playtest custom class that my friend Alan, created. That Ed Greenwood's playing, the Greyhawk Mage. Which, think about that. I have probably the most legendary person alive in D&D right now playing Greyhawk Mage in my campaign. It's kind of crazy when you think about it.
It's awesome.
So let's go to the class here. Now this is still in playtest. Alan has one Greyhawk Mage. Her name is D. Her name is actually Yolande. She's named after Lady Ralta, the Queen Yolande of, and she's in the same house, but she likes to be called D instead.
So she's an elf.
She's Greyhawk.
An elf.
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool.
Where did I put it? Oh, Jay, where did I put the PDF? Oh my gosh! Oh, it's everywhere. Here we go. It's probably over here. Greyhawk Mage, Greyhawk Mage. You know, I got. Here we go. Yay! Okay. So here's the Greyhawk Mage. Now this Greyhawk Mage, does anyone remember the great Dragon Age where you had those combat mages that wore armor, and I forget what they were called in the 1st and 2nd Dragon Ages. So this is kind of based loosely on that, but the Greyhawk Mage comes from basically the Circle of 8. And what a Greyhawk Mage needs to do is they need to specialize from one of the great members of the Circle of 8. So they get some abilities where they can use better weapons and some better armor. They get a lot of these enhancement to their spells where they can cast spell levels higher. They can enhance ranges, enhance area effects. Their goal is to go out into the world in Greyhawk and find spells that to add to the library of the Great Library of Greyhawk. It's Alex. It's kind of like the Battle Mages in there. If that's simply what they were called. And here's some background on it. It's pretty neat. It's a pretty neat class idea. So it's still in playtest, and playtest for us is like 5 years, right? That is that's about the time frame. So Ed picked Alaluk. So if we go to, and remember, this is not, he doesn't use Fireball. He doesn't use Lightning Bolt. What we try to do, and there's no right or wrong to this, but we want them to use named spells. All right, where did that go? Did I just click that in the wrong spot? Here it is. Oh, and I put it right over your picture. I don't want to freeze the stream. Okay, then.
Yeah.
All right, here's the Alaluk spells from. Everyone know where this is from? From most of them. The references are GR2 means this.
Greyhawk Adventures.
Greyhawk Adventures.
Yeah.
Okay. And then you got Unearthed Arcana, Alaluk's Resilient Sphere, Alaluk's Freezing Spheres in the original Player's Handbook. Alaluk's Telekinetic Sphere is in the Unearthed Arcana.
Lots of cool name spells. I can't remember if the spells are that good or not, but at least there's so many. They're Greyhawk flavored.
This book for 3 months is unbelievable. As Jim Ward told us, they put this together from scratch in 3 months.
But they probably had a lot of the material laying around.
It was
more like compiling it rather than writing it from scratch. I don't know. That's just my guess.
And what's sad is that we don't know who did what. And that's what we always tried. You have these spells, and this is a must for any Greyhawk DM. You have to have this book, whether you have it in PDF or whatever. This is a must. Yeah. The listings of all these spells are in here, and there are spells for all of the Circle of 8 except for Jalarzi. I don't know if any. Someday we'll have a couple of Jalarzi spells, but they're in here. Then you can find them in our publication. So I compile these lists up. Now, in addition to the Circle of Eight, I have a couple others. I have Leomund because Len's character Leomund. Got to use Leomund. He's got a lot of other spells. So you have to take a mentor. Now Aluk is dead currently in my game still. So Jawal Severnane from the Dark Elf from the Guild of Wizardry has taken his place in behalf of Aluk training. So that's Ed's character Ravalantar has helps him with that. So these are spells, but he's trying to accumulate strange spells, and he keeps on getting them. He got that Elminster multiple mouse spell the first adventure we did. I thought that was funny, but he's got many jaws. He got Agonizer Scorcher in his spell book after last week. So they try and use non-basic spells as no magic missiles, none of that stuff. They go for the crazy, and it adds a lot of flavor to your game. All right, so this is first edition. What do you do if you're a 5th edition mage? You play 5th edition. Well, there's a simple thing you do. Joe Block has helped you out tremendously. There you go. Okay.
Yeah.
And thank you for that.
He translated all of them, converted all of them, I think, to 5th edition. If I remember
this is a 5th edition conversion to Joe Block and it says if you want to donate, for it, that is welcome.
He has a Patreon too. That hang on a second, I'll see if I can find it here. So
So these are all going to 5th level. These are all 1st level spells that he's converted over to 5e, with a whole bunch of other great things in here. Here's a whole bunch of new feats you can use in this book. Okay. And then the schools. There's schools here. It's kind of like he's picking my brain on this. You know what I mean? It's funny, but like the School of Nystal, is here. But Alan's character is a Nystal trainee, and then Luke. So they have their own spheres. So they almost are like a specialty priest type with different different abilities. So he's done this in 5th edition, which is cool. Yeah, Joe's awesome. Yeah. And these paintings, Trembling, are probably taken from other publications. This is, he hasn't charged for this, so that's the only reason why he can use the artwork. That's my guess. Like that's from Rowdy the Trader. So that one. So you have all of them here, and he's done a very good job. And here's all the spells. Same spells. There may be a couple different here and there, but not many. And that is where you get. And for free, you can add all of these spells into your 5e game. Just like that. Now, you may want to play test them, and you may just want to use them for regular mages, or do whatever you want with them. And so you have them access in 1st edition. And there's also, I believe, a 3rd edition version of this out there, too. So there you go on that. And then the descriptions are all here in alphabetical order. Very nicely done by Joe.
Yep.
Very, very nicely done. So from there, a custom class is created. So instead of just magic user and illusionist, I now have a witch, a necromancer, a shadow mage, 6 elementalists, the incantatrix, which I said it wrong, and Ed corrected me on that. What am I missing? My gosh. Go to the class book here. And you can add as many spells as you want, right there, from all different illusions. That's it. Wild Mage, and a little bit of an Avenger. Avenger is a Druid subclass which gets capability of Quasi and Earth Elementalist spells too. So, how does Jalarzi's Jello Jacuzzi sound? It sounds like a 30-day ban. Oh no, it's a jacuzzi thing, so hot tub thing. So maybe not Big Mac. So there you go. Maybe I can get away with it.
Hello, David.
Yes. Yep. Good to see you, man. Good to see you. Let me see if I got a hit up for our wonderful Piazza. I thought I did. My gosh, I got so many shout outs now. Where is it? Oh man, David, I gotta find it. So thanks for hopping on. Whew. Man, there's stuff everywhere. That's not it. That's me. So Tim's not on yet, so you better get on in the second hour here. Adventures Backpack. Let's take a look, because Troller Games is giving us 5 giveaways. So let's take a look at what this cool thing has. All right, so CNC is old school. They have 5e stuff as well, Soma. They have both. This I'm gonna concentrate on this because this is a reference point that myself and Rob Phantom plays, and a lot of us in the community play Greyhawk with CNC stuff. So I'm going to do, but there is both. All right, so this is a 1e thing, except there's no THAC0. They have it. They have it the way.
Exactly, they have
Yeah.
positive armor class. It scales up like in
Absolutely.
3rd edition or later versions. Yeah.
So this is your adventurer's backpack, and what happens here? Let me make this a little.
Otherwise, it's
smaller.
very old school style.
They
game
are. I
style.
mean, yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Mhm.
Got it. So Stephen Chenault, and I'm going to get Stephen Chenault on a show too soon. Stephen Chenault knew Gary Gygax very well, knows Darlene very well, knows Jim Ward, who's done a lot of work with him, and Jim, they're going to
Yep.
re-release Jim Ward's Tainted Lands. I've been
Yep.
told as well.
Yeah. Castle and Crusade is one of the game systems I'm looking into maybe adopting for the future. We'll see. I'm
Well,
it's
if you
still an
do,
open
we get
question.
Rob
Yeah.
Phantom, who's doing a lot of it with you right off the bat, and maybe
Yeah. So it's
yeah.
one of the ones I'm seriously looking into. So yeah.
All right, so we got some cool classes here, and I think we're going to concentrate on, I believe, the Arcane Thief, which is, and also the Rune Mark, are the two I think that he wanted me to concentrate on, and I'm doing this with, without Chuck here, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So, an Arcane Thief is almost like an incantatrix that Ed Greenwood made for Forgotten Realms that I pilfered from him. Like I said, I'm not beyond pilfering good ideas.
No, you should.
No.
Yeah.
Just because it's a Forgotten Realms spell or it's a Forgotten Realms thing, like the Crusader class that Eric Boyd made in his book on the Deities book. I love the Crusader. It's a great class.
Yeah, and if it's a name, if the spell is named for some famous wizard in Forgotten Realms, then rename it.
So Valmoko says their illusions versions are awesome, which is good to hear.
Yeah.
Cool. And that's a good thing to take out of from, like I said, pilfer wherever. So the Arcane Thief is well schooled in arcane art. They either attended a school for the Magi or had a master who apprenticed them. So their trade room, let's see here. So they favor the simple and common daggers, knives, and swords. So they can wear armor, but they avoid metal, and they are actually trying to steal, I believe, spell steal. Correct, is what they're doing, which is the same thing as incantatrix, but they are mage base, and this is more of a fighter / thief base. Hey, Stella. Hey, Stella. Great to see you.
Hello.
So we will continue. Sit tight. I'm gonna digress.
Okay.
I'm gonna digress for a minute if you don't
Yeah,
mind, everyone.
Please.
So just to show you that 2-drink minimum and the Slav squatters from last night are permanent fixtures here. Oh geez, Jay's gonna crash it, aren't I?
Uh-oh.
I'm gonna where is it? Here is. They have made the list of Altamira mercenary groups ranked in order of positive notoriety. You can see them at the bottom.
Oh, awesome. Slav squatters. And
Yes, the Slav squatters are the
and 2 drinks minimum.
Yes.
Yeah, the 2 drinks minimum we have to work our way up.
Both of them do. Yes. So there's the group of, and real quick. PC. The fighters of the light in Altamira are just like the fighters of the light. They're the Fultians that are in Greyhawk, and the Altamira enforcers. You've all come across them in the Salty Dog all the time, mouthing off at you. So they're both NPC mercenary groups. All the rest are player character mercenary groups in Altamira. So just note they both made the list, which means they're all coming back, which is a great thing, and I'm excited about that. Hey, Stella, I really appreciate you. Come on, hang out a little bit here, and get into giveaways. We got some great stuff going tonight. 5 giveaways of this Adventurer's Backpack, 2 in physical with free shipping, and 3 digital from Troller Games. So they are spell stealers. They cast from the Grimoire cast at the Arcane Thief's level, and their main ability is to steal spell from others. So there you go. I've never used one. Rob, have you used one, or anyone else out there used this class? I have not. This was supposed to be Chuck's domain of work here, but unfortunately we don't have Chuck on. So but note there, it is it appears to be a really cool class. They have die 8 hit dice too. Wow.
Yeah.
Huh. Yeah, and it seems to be based on intelligence mostly, and it's got a.
But it's like a thief rogue style character,
Yeah.
but specializing in hunting magic, so to speak, or stealing it.
Yes.
Can they cast it if they steal a spell? Can they cast it?
I believe so. The Arcane Thief here, it says right here, yeah, the Arcane Thief must either cast a spell or store it in their grimoire within 8 hours of stealing it. The Arcane Thief can steal any spell equal to or below their plot level plus their intelligence bonus. Okay.
Ah, okay.
Right,
So
there you go. So that's one, and no, missed it. Oh, you missed it.
In a way, spell steal. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead. Okay, Dan.
I was going to say spell stealing is more interesting than counterspelling in a way, because counterspelling is boring because it just kills off all the magic, and you both sides lose a spell slot, and it kind of just
right.
But spell stealing is kind of interesting because you take from one and then you can cast it back, so to speak, or convert it or something. So
I'm going to look. Yeah. I don't know if I have it in a PDF. If it's in a Word doc, I cannot open it. I don't want to crash everything. I'm looking I.
I'm still not. Yeah, I still don't know how I want to have counter spelling done, so to speak. It's kind of tricky.
Counter spelling is really tough in my game. It's the one thing that disappears kind of in miniatures rules, but I'm okay with that. We've discussed that.
Yeah.
So here, let me see if I can find this up. Thanks, thank you so very much. And by the way, I said thank you for 4 hype trains last night during the game. It was awesome. It was really fantastic. So I'm trying to find it. Here it is. All right, October 84 Dragon. Another spell stealer. The shielding spell stealing NPC class. I made it a PC class in Cantatrix at Greenwood. Okay. So, well, thanks, Trembling, for doing that. So note, here's another one if you want to have a spell stealer. They have their own spell list in here, but I've enhanced it. So there is a spell list and spell table in this, but I have made changes to the spell list. I've added spells, and I got my own custom list for the Incantatrix. There are 2 in my campaign going back for 40 years. It's not a very popular class. Okay, but it's still there. So, Scruffy Gardener's rules. It's called it's D20. Oh, cool, man. Very, very cool. And so there's no reason you can't take rules, spells from whatever source you find and add it and make the changes in your game. Definitely. I appreciate that, Ben, that suggestion. So let me see here. Fun. All right, Divine Knight. No. So there is Relics and Rituals has tattoo magic in those books. This is rune magic, which I think a lot of you know rune magic if you play World of Warcraft, right? Oh, Sworn.
Yeah, to me, it's kind of cool to have more spell casting systems than just a regular.
Yeah, there's a Primal Druid.
Yeah, that was one of my caveats with Pathfinder. They made everything into regular spell casting, whether you were a witch or warlock or cleric or wizard or whatever. They called them hexes, but they worked just like spells. And sometimes it's fun to have different versions of it. And
yeah, it's so. Here's another, the rune mark, it appears, derives through the power from runes. So this is more of a rune magic as opposed to spells, but it's a different direction you can go with it. And
yeah, you can kind of take it that they have to make these into, so instead of memorizing each night, then you get a full set of spells. You have to sit and write it down, and it might take a long time, but then you can kind of get more flash and bang because you might be able to have a whole collection of them, but then it will take a week or a month to charge up again or something. So there's many different parameters you can play with if you want to, so to speak. It's just finding something that works for your campaign, and also
balance.
Don't exactly balance, and also don't always introduce it for the player character. Start with the villains and NPCs and stuff, and see if it can be interesting.
So look, this is the Relic and Rituals beginning of the book, prefaced by Gary Gygax. So there you go. So Gary wrote the preface for this. But so if you want to go, you got rune magic, and then we're gonna go. Where is it? Hopefully I can find it. Items. I think it's is it after it? There it is, Tattoo Magic. So here it's in both books. So and Tattoo Magic, we've done limited in my Vestry Forest Druidic campaign area, in that area of adventuring. There, I have it that the Obadiah, there's the Obadiah sect is the only ones of the druids that has the access to the tattoo magic. The ancient ones, the Sham.
Yeah.
So there's one deep. She's in the defiled glades and has put tattoos on some of the characters in that group.
And why not having having the druids or something? They actually have to tattoo themselves in order to be able to cast a certain spell. They have to have that tattoo on their body.
Thanks, Lee.
And then that's the way they learn it, so to speak. So you have to, and these tattoos have to be made a certain way or something. So you can, there's a lot of cool stuff you can play with, and you don't need to change the you can just say, you can add that rule for flavor, not to change the mechanics. You can just change it for flavor, saying that as a druid, you have to make a tattoo for each spell you're able to cast to make the connection or something like that. So you can see on a certain type of spellcaster, they're full of tattoos everywhere. Then you know that they can cast lots of different spells. It doesn't change anything mechanically. It's more a thematic change, so to speak.
It's flavor. It's something a little different. You do not, once again, want to go crazy with this. You do not want to overpower the game by having too much use of either ritual. I'm sorry, my brain just shut off. By runic magic or tattoo magic, but why not? And like I said, whatever edition you're playing, first, third, fifth, doesn't matter. Pathfinder, you got an option. You have options here, and that's something that is cool. And you got some cool spells here. And there's ranks, and you have to have certain cons to take the tattoos and runics. I'm not. Once again, I'm doing this without having access of Chuck here. So you have to create the relic, and there's stats on here. Losing, oh gosh. So there's a lot of different rules on this, but this is another type of magic you can add to your game that is outside of the spellcasting. Yeah. So I want to ask this question: spellbooks.
Yeah.
Old school, you weren't supposed to take them with you out into the field because they get destroyed, and you have what it was called the traveling spell book with limited spells for going out into dungeons, and Bakab's blessed books which carried limited traveling spells. What happens in Pathfinder in 5th edition with that?
Well, I think that the way I've seen it in my campaigns is that I don't think they mention much about traveling spell books or anything, because most player characters are kind of homeless in a way. They are continuously roaming, at least up until they get their. It's meaning to have a permanent base of operations is not a lot of players' characters don't have that, including wizards. So I think at least in my player characters, they're kind of, it's a road movie, a lot of my adventures. So what they own is what they have on them, what they can carry or have on their mount or something. And then as they level up and get further into the campaign, that's when they start getting either friends and allies to store items and stuff with, or they start acquiring these resources themselves, keeps and various other things. So but a lot of players don't seem to want to settle down much. They want to, it's part of the fun to roam around the landscape and do things and explore and fight and whatnot. So they never, so in that way I just abandoned that concept very quickly, and it's
because it doesn't work for your campaign. That's for your game. That's so for us, where we have Altamira, Hardby, and Greyhawk, and even Norwell, and some smaller cities, it works for us that you have a guild where you're going to store your main spellbook at, or you're going to somewhere special.
What I did was that I created a magical case that kind of protect against fire and wet and some of the obvious kind of disasters that can happen, so to speak. So at least the book is at least reasonably secure for, and also the rules for destroying items. It's kind of hard to destroy items. It doesn't happen automatically. If you get like a fireball, items you have on you don't need to save for, so to speak. So it's more risky to put the book away in most editions of D&D than to carry it on you in some ways. So
cool. it's always been like a another thing that a mage may have to do that they don't want to. So
Yeah.
in my game, and but like you said, magic user types become the most powerful at the end of the campaign. So
Well, yeah,
I
first edition is not about
yeah,
things being being kind of power parity
right.
or just it's a, yeah, they started out the worst and end up being the most powerful. So yeah.
All right. Well, I thought Tim would be on by now, but who knows? So,
Well, we
so Tim
continue
has
here.
created
Yeah.
something. I'm going to link. Well, he's edited something. He's made some major changes to it. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pop it up, and then if he shows up, he does. If not, we'll talk about it another time because it's. I haven't even
Mm-hmm.
approved everything here, and there's stuff that's getting it.
Okay.
There's stuff that's gonna get nixed by me. And, oh, man, I almost opened up something wrong, and that would have been a disaster. All right, let me go to here and pop this up here. So Tim is working on this because for Hardby, and that is, and he's taken some old publications. I think the original publication comes from Pegasus #3, which is a Judges Guild publication of I don't know when this comes, and you can barely see it here. It says features Sea Mages, okay, by Paul Elkman. All right, I don't even know how old this is, but this has got to be in the 70s. This has got to be 78, 79. Having that, it is really really old. So what Tim has done is he's been working on this for a while, and has taken the actual class and has worked on it. And I'm going to throw this up and then just discuss it for a little bit. And if he gets on, okay. He even put his ever mysterious Tim there, so it's funny. All right, so the Sea Mage is a natural result of seafaring people and would be natural extension of their interests. So here's your Greyhawk connection that he's worked on. For centuries, the sea princes, we should have Mike Bridges on and discuss it. Sea princes have produced the greatest sailors of all Earth, and their maritime skills are widely acknowledged by all but the most jealous. It's natural then that their sea magicians are a staple in their maritime interests. Their fleets carry sea mages of unusual power. Okay, so it's being worked on, and it has the Sea Mage, and we won't go over the abilities as of yet. It's got an experience table, so he's done the diligence and made some changes here. We come to this, and here's your spells. This is very very well done. I mean, we're talking about this first. It goes up to 9th. Look at how many pages this thing is. This thing is 35 pages. So I have an entire class built up with Pegasus. Isn't that crazy? Yes. This is where this original comes from. Pegasus #3. This original article comes from. Tim, because Tim's dad was a big Judges Guild, and we all met Tim's dad during the special game he did last weekend. Tim's dad was huge on Judges Guild stuff. In fact, Tim was the first person to ever run Dark Tower for me. Janelle Jackway's great masterpiece that I ran once myself. It's 81 to 83. Okay, so it's right in that early era when I just knew Tim and his dad, early on. And Tim's still in junior high when I'm in high school. So, but there you go. We have 35 pages of spells with descriptions all done and the references where they come from. So I have a lot of work to do. A lot. And it's going to take, what I'm going to do is I'm going to let him play the character and just see where it goes. I think that's the best bet for it because he knows it, because he created it, made all the changes. So used the Sea Mage in his Rune Lord campaign recently. Well, that's cool, Lee. I'll have to talk to John about that and see what he says where he got it from. There may be another Sea Mage out there. Does anyone know of any other publications that have a Sea Mage in them? I think Pathfinder has one, don't they? Oh, yeah. You know what?
They have lots of different versions. Hang on a second.
Yes.
Here.
As a matter of fact, Tim gave me attachments. 1 second. Here we go. I got to close this. I got too much. So Tim gave me these. Here we go. Yep. These are Pathfinder. Book of Magic Pirate Spells. Okay. John Brazier Enterprises. Pathfinder. Oh, John Brazier Enterprises did this. Pathfinder. It's Pathfinder.
Yeah, they have inner sea. They have inner sea magic. Is another version of
Yep. So Tim has taken this. Also taken two. He did his work. He took 2 Dragon articles. I think 220 and 225. This is 235. This is Dragon 235. Arcane Lore Sea Spells by Brian Dunnell, and then Sea Magic by Deborah Christian. So use these articles as well, and copied and put this all together, mishmashed this out. Oh, cool! You do, Troy. Wow, isn't that amazing? Ironic. I mean, he's been working on this, not knowing what you're working on, so it's kind of separate. But just note, it's for my campaign. I'm just going to go published out or anything like that. So, but very cool on that. That Tim has been working on this for a while and has just gotten it to me, and now we'll play test it in our game. Which will be neat. So if he does get on, he hasn't texted me that he's not coming on. We'll discuss these. So I'll just leave them up in the background there. Yes, I think you're in for the drawing. So we'll take a look. But that is our newest playtest class. So Greyhawk Mage is in playtest right now. Maester is in playtest right now. And Bill's talked about that a couple times. And the Sea Mage will be in playtest. Isn't there C using mages? I don't know, Valmoko. I don't remember it.
There's so many. There
Yeah,
are over 60
could be.
classes, I think,
Yeah.
in Pathfinder, and I think
I don't remember in Kingmaker.
No, Kingmaker is probably more.
Yeah,
more,
Magus is a fighter mage smashed together.
yeah,
'cause I know the half orc in Kingmaker
Magus.
was that. Yeah.
Yeah.
The chaotic evil half orc they had in that. It was in love with the elf. Yeah, that was fun.
And they also had a lot of domains and stuff. And I kind of liked
Yeah.
the domain system in 3rd edition Pathfinder, because you could it was easy to tweak clerics. So they were specialty priest rules were built in from scratch, so to speak. So you can tweak it. But now I'm looking at Level Up, the advanced 5e version, and they also have some interesting ways of dealing with clerics that way too, and wizards too have some. There's a lot of spells, and they also do. That's interesting. The Level Up Advanced 5e that Ian World is it's an offshoot of 5e and they have made deeper spell schools. So they have all the classic spell schools, and then they've introduced others. So you have like the acid ones you have, and so on and so forth. So they have more for elementalist specialties and various others that have certain effects and stuff. So that's kind of so you can
Chuck.
specialize wizards deeply if you want to.
Hopefully you're feeling all right, Chuck. The ever mysterious Tim's
okay.
about to hop on. He just hosted Troller Games.
Yep.
Just hosted the every campaign, every queue. Yes, that's true, Lemus. That's really true. You can.
Yeah.
And,
yeah.
Thank you.
Some rule systems are probably a bit awkward if you go completely overboard, and then there are some generic ones like what was it, Rifts RPG, and then there were GURPS is another one. True 20 is another one that is, and Fate systems. But Fate is very different from standard role-playing games, but it's also very genre neutral, so to speak.
21 months, Chuck. That's awesome. So I'm going to answer Curtis's, and then I don't even want to know. Did you just were you at the Village People concert? Oh no, Negan!
Oh,
I don't even want to know. Were you at a Halloween party or something?
I had to take care of a few problems.
Oh my gosh!
A delayed Halloween party. Yep.
Oh my god!
But everyone's clear now.
Barbed wire, and they were
So Curtis, I'm going to answer your question on this. This is what I do with witch doctors and shamans. I kind of make it up as I go. I don't need specific classes for the humanoids, but I will pilfer lower level elementalist spells from them, and sometimes you'll see that. So like a witch doctor can have a mix of clerical spells and maybe water elemental for cold, or electrical spells like lightning blast, which is a single target, lightning bolt. I'll mix them in, and that tends to be how I do them. because I don't want to create a class for them. It's just I don't like this. I like non-structure. I think witch doctors and shamans should be all completely variable based on the
Yes.
tribe.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
and I just that way it works. So hopefully that answers your question.
Yeah.
On
For
that.
me,
So
when I have what I call divine agents, and that's when I lump up things like clerics, druids,
oh my gosh,
paladins, and warlocks, yeah, witches and stuff. So any creature that gets their magic powers from some divine being or demon lord or something similar, they have certain rules, and then so divine beings can give all the normal divine magic, but they can also give the spells within arcane spells or any spells within their portfolio, so to speak. So if it's a god by fire, they can give all sorts of fire-based spells and stuff. So yeah.
So Chuck just said I have the codes, and please note the following: if you do not have the 7th edition Player's Handbook, there you go, free download from Troller Games. Most people will have it, but
awesome.
yes, so that's the 7th edition. It's coming out.
Fantastic.
Yep.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. I got all of them here. I do have all 5 codes for all 5 giveaways. Let me switch back and show. And then Tim, I just discussed what you had done. I had gone into any detail. Note, this is the giveaway, the Adventurers Backpack that we've talked about. In hard copy, we are giving away 2 with free shipping, and then 3 digitals. Okay, and just we'll go first 2. We'll get the hard copy unless they want a digital for some reason, and also yes, we don't do editions. Yeah, even though it says 7th edition, so I don't know whatever that means. So cool. We used to play a lot of Aftermath. Oh my gosh, you hear that? Trembling Recluse played Aftermath, Tim.
Excellent.
Yes,
Obviously, he's got good taste.
We play a lot of Aftermath. Yes. Yep. Sam, I think, or some. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, and he had a ball peen hammer.
Yep. I had a ball peen hammer. Yeah. It's too realistic. Tim is too realistic for that stuff, though. So. Because Tim and Anna are like, yeah.
Well, it wasn't razor wire on the.
Yes.
It was only.
What'd your wife think when you made that? I guess you got all the other real weapons in the background.
It's kind of useful.
Well, this is actually it looks real, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's not real. Oh, it's plastic.
No, it's actually silver cordage with tied knots.
Oh wow, dude. Okay, so you can't.
Yeah.
But it does look very convincing, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm. But I was going to say it must be hell of difficult to use real barbed wire and yeah.
It was in the show, right? But
yeah,
it's
cool.
actually not practical to put things that stick.
No, it just yeah. It's psychologically cool, but it's
So Lomas, next Gabbin, I'll get the box set. I have the complete box set downstairs with a bunch of adventures. Tim probably has it sitting right next to him, the Aftermath box set. Yeah. And he's got a phone call now. So yes, Aftermath is crazy. But hey, look, we're gonna walk before we run, right? Everyone, you're going to see a week from the day after Thanksgiving a BattleTech game, MechWarrior game here, right? You're gonna see that. So yep, you're gonna have some fun with that. My God, I just forgot what I was gonna say. Oh, I can't answer the question now till he comes back there, Lee. So yep, 5 giveaways. While Tim's out, let's go talk about this book. So this book is Illusionist, Wild Mage, Shadow Mage. All right. But there's other classes in here too with casting abilities. So I have all 3 bards. Oh, there it is. Yes. Oh my gosh, 2 of them. All 3 bards, jester spell lists, all sorts of stuff in here, and the Shadow Mage is in here as well. And that was created. It has a very small spell list, as you can see, in comparison to others, but it works. It works last night we had Mandy playing her character Exeli, a Shadow Mage bounty hunter, and she can enhance her hiding and she can enhance a lot of things with it, and it's a pretty cool class. Shadow Mage is not a bard spinoff. We have 3 bards: Songbard with spells, The Scald Bard, which is got like illusionist spells, and your traditional druidic bard from Player's Handbook First Edition with druid spells. So we have 3 different types of bards you can be. Tim, did you supply the Sea Mage for John when he did it in his Pathfinder game? Parts of it, or no?
I think I sent him the spell selection.
Okay, so you did. Okay, there you go, Lee. It's dead on. So he did. All right. Well, let me do this.
So it'll be my fault again.
It always is your fault. Imagine this: Tim gets a T-shirt made up out from him from another stream. That's crazy.
It's not my fault. I'm just an enabler.
No, Jester's from Dragon Magazine, Dragon 60. And the spell list is there, but I've enhanced the spell list to add most of charm type spells to the list there for Jester. So yeah, absolutely, yeah, exactly, Lomas in that. So, all right, the Sea Mage. Go through your process here, dude.
All right. Well,
what happened to your hair? Canadian said.
Got a cut, man. I decided to keep this much, but I was thinking of even like taking more.
Jester's its own class, Lee. I can, it's right in Dragon Magazine. So I'll show it to you after we're done with Tim. I'll pull it out of my book and show you the class. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was actually working on several different versions of different types of I'm actually working on a Fultian light wizard. So it's not just a elementalist of radiance or something. It's a little bit different and different orders. I kind of read an article about different orders of magic. And I thought this is a pretty good idea, and I wanted to do a number of them. And in the research, I came across Judges Guild Pegasus number 3. And there was Sea Mages were in there, and I was like, that sounds good. So I took the article and I basically modified it to my taste and updated a little bit. And I followed sort of this template that Jay does with either specialty priests or different orders. They get certain abilities as levels go up, kind of. So I put some of that in there.
Right here.
Some of the features of an elementalist where people get minuses to certain saves and things like that. I added that in there. And then I started doing the great sea magic search.
Yes, which is now you can appreciate what I do for para elementalists, and well, you help me with para. Quasi.
It's a lot of work to find the. Well, some of the work it's all out there. It's just filtering it and tuning it to your aesthetic.
So here, you all love when Tim and I go back and forth at each other. So I'm going to throw here's red flag number 1.
I knew there was going to be some pushback. I didn't expect it to go public, Jay.
Yeah, well, I mean, this shows that we're real people here. So I'm going to give you 2 no just no's here.
I quit.
Explain to me why, no matter who they're targeting, Sea Mages, all their saves versus all their spells are at -2.
Because all their magic is sea magic.
So?
It was in the original article, Jay.
That's devastating. All right. So a fire elementalist casts a spell.
Well, I would say if you're not a sea mage, you would have a penalty on the save.
No,
because there's a lot of limiting factors though in the sea mage. One,
I think he invented some too, Lee.
Outside their, narrow focus, they don't have a whole lot going on.
I understand that, but that's like saying a necromancer doesn't have a lot of focus outside what they're going on, and all their spells aren't -2 for casting on people.
No, but they have
alive.
spells. They have spells that you need 5 saves that'll break all your limbs and your neck, right? That's worse.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna tweak that. That's
right. It could be
devastating.
Selectively, certain types.
I may limit this to 3 times per day. They can cast a spell at -2. All spells at -2.
Or maybe certain spells.
Alan and Bill will flip the frick out. You know that, right? And that's too much. So, but that's okay.
I didn't have them in mind when I did it.
Tom won't care. Walt, well, if he's asleep or not. I'm sorry, Walt, if you're on, but
Right, but when you look at the offensive capabilities, they
right.
are greatly limited. I mean, they're very
No,
limited
I
in
looked through here and there's some devastating spells because you
Oh,
pulled some from the Great
absolutely.
Net spell book that I did too for my water elementals, like tidal wave, tsunami. Come on, man! Holy jeez!
Right in their area at that level, certainly. But how many are that level?
Bill just said he never argues. Bill, -2 against all spells. What do you think? Just put it in chat and be honest. And if
All
you,
spells from a sea mage. Sea mage spells. If you're not a sea mage,
I know, but you got to think about this in terms of what it's going to do to the game. That's like a whole person at -2 all the time. How devastating is -2
only on the
save?
ones that need saves, and there's not that many.
Yeah. Look at Bill. No. Okay, I agree.
I don't care
think
what he says.
I know that they can be limited where they can be effective.
Yeah.
But I will
I
do
think
more research and do my due diligence.
It's your game. You get to do what you want.
See,
let's just throw that out there. The caveat is it's your world, so you get to tweak it the hell.
Yeah, and you can do it in yours too. I understand.
Yeah. So
I know. I just wanted.
I'm
I
always
wanted
gonna
to.
give the
I wanted to see
counter
people
discussion.
banner back and forth, which goes on a lot.
All right, I
And
want to
Bill's
do a
laughing.
counter to it, but you get the decision. There is no real fight.
And Troy's on your side, which is awesome. There's no fight. This is a friendly discussion here.
Especially the list and also the spell casting times. There's a lot of serious limitations on those guys. There's a lot of spells that take multiple rounds to cast.
I know. I love this. So I'm not saying it's not happening. So you can't. Troy is deeply in your corner, Tim, which is awesome. So
thank you. Someone has to be standing up against this tyranny.
I like this, but I prefer -10% to experience and keep the match table the same. Same difference.
All right.
I think
I mean, I used
it's very close.
I used what they had in the original article.
More Discord, Chuck? Wow. Okay. Oh my gosh. Okay.
What is that?
Oh, okay. 1 second. Thank you. The first. This is Chuck just sent me the first one of these. The first one in hard copy that gets it given out is signed by Stephen Chenault. Signed copy. Okay.
Ooh.
All right. Now Chuck just told me there's one that's in the warehouse. So the first one will be a signed copy of the Adventurers Backpack. First winner. Okay. Thank you, Chuck. That is awesome. Very, very cool. Really appreciate it. Okay. So we'll tweak this. This is fine. This works fine. We'll tweak this up. Yeah.
I also want it to be like, hey, it costs. It's harder to be a sea mage than just a regular mage.
It is, but at -10 to experience tables the same difference. So we'll get there. We'll get there. We'll get there on that. Hey, dude, it's very well done. All right. So spells. Fortunately, yes. There's as you can see, looks like 20 roughly first level spells. Point out one that you like and what it does, and I'll go to it.
One I really like?
Yeah.
I like Gasp.
Okay.
And I like the Bubble Net.
All right, we'll go to Bubble Net first since I know it's right here. Bubble Net. 100 feet plus 10 foot per level, right? And
Right.
1 round and 1 target creature. Bubble Net causes a targeted underwater creature or object to be wrapped in magical air bubbles and rises to the water's surface. Okay. Where does this come from to? What's BLS?
It is the.
I have it right
I
here.
sent you the abbreviation. I sent you with those.
It's
Hold
not
on.
there. I know you
I'll have
did.
to.
I
One
got-
second.
I got it. I got it. Book of Lost Spells. That is Pathfinder.
Yes, it is.
That's
Yep.
Pathfinder publication. Awesome.
Yep.
Here's your GNS Great Net Spellbook. If you do
Yep.
get the Great Net Spellbook, just note I created a class the only class I've ever created that did not make it out of play test because these spells were so I'm going to bring it out one day as a joke, and that's the Dominatrix. So just note that I created a Dominatrix with levels of spells all the way up to 7th level. 10 spells of each. Yes, note that.
Be aware, too, that the
Great Net spell book.
The Great Net spell book has some stuff in there. Don't let your young person read all that.
Yes.
Without editing it.
Yes.
Because there were some like perv people that were trying to like play out their own little sick fantasies with their spellcasters.
Yeah, absolutely. You got to be careful with the Great Net spell
that
book.
out of there.
Yep.
Yeah.
Come on.
Also, the Great Net Libram of Wild Magic is out there too. That's another good one. So
there's an elemental Great Net as well.
Awesome. So this is pretty cool. That's a pretty cool spell. And then you say Gasp.
Gasp. That's pretty good because you got some critter down below who's hiding from you. You want to bring him up. You're going to hide down there from me? Boom. You can bring him on up.
Spell functions like water breathing, except the effect only lasts for 1 round. Caster level mass of 5 rounds. Okay. 1 living creature.
What are you talking about?
Gasp. Gasp. You said that she can. It's a short holding your. I thought you could hold your breath for 5 minutes yourself.
Most people cannot hold it for 5 minutes without training.
Jay, really? Oh, yes, I made a Yes, I did back in the 90s. I did it. I know.
He was watching Legends of the Seeker. That's probably why.
And most of their spells are no save. It's Bill and Alan almost killed me over it. And I had one character. I had a dark elf named Viersa, Dominatrix Thief.
Jay, I realize I want to switch out my Gasp spell with Locate Wreck. That's the one I think that's more.
Locate Wreck.
Yeah.
So,
and that's
cool. Area effect 1/10 mile per level. Neat, Anna. This spell determines the range and depth of any and all sunken vessels. Cool.
In range. So that's like
very, very, very useful.
That's pretty handy. They could be very lucrative and valuable to have one of those on your ship. For people that have big shipping fleets or whatever, you could.
Do you have Raise Shipwreck in your spell list? I thought I saw it somewhere.
I'm sorry, Raise
Shipwreck in a higher level spell. Raise Shipwreck.
Oh yes, there is. There's Raise Wreck. There's several different varieties of that. Some more powerful than the others.
Right. So
Refloat is another one. That's 2nd level.
Here's my caveat. Okay. And you can nix these, but I'm still a little bitter about not you. About Leonard, one thing I'm bitter about is Leonard nixed the spells I created. Remember for this, he wanted Sea Mage spells that one time.
He did?
In the contest, and he didn't like any of them. He hated them all, actually, as a matter of fact.
We should put them in here, man.
Well, I'm going to show you what they are. These are the ones how many of these have you created in here yourself? That's a question. How many did you create any of these?
I had such a huge list.
Yeah, me too.
I think I took and edited most of them.
Okay.
There were so many. I was, there's not many gaps.
So if you know one of the first characters that we ever streamed about, and this is going back right at the beginning, and you may not know, a lot of you may not know about her, is Knuckle Paler Shannon Maynham. She's a pirate from a noble house in Hardby, dual class fighter, magic user, human, very nasty. They captured her, but then she weaseled her way out and got away, and is now roaming the seas still in her ship, the Black Swan. So I created 3 spells for Leonard, and here's the contest. Sail by the Stars was my first one. Okay. So number 1.
That sounds like a good one.
Okay. I thought so. Len hated all 3 of them.
It basically lets you navigate, right? It just helps you.
Yeah, yes. Gets you to ascertain exact direction of magnetic north. So very basic 1st level spell.
Yeah. There's a couple compass ones in the list as well. Compass and navigate ones.
I love this one. Chain shot attack.
Oh yeah.
So this spell destroy shells of opposing ships, but to take care of not causing massive structural damage, as from a fireball, which will burn the whole ship down. And Ed goes, "Well, you just have fireball or lightning bolt." I said, "Ed, you're going to destroy the whole ship." No,
but your range is different than those. I have some that I increase the range on because they're.
Yeah, this is longer than fireball range. This is 150 plus 10. Fireball's 100 plus 10.
It's kind of like a siege engine sort of spell.
Anna's working on her stuff, which is awesome. And then ship buoyancy, which I saw buoyancy in there already. This was third level. This spell may be the saving grace between sinking at sea and surviving to sail to a home port when you're damaged, severe damage. So there are the 3 I made. He hated them.
I was thinking too. They fit in because I actually have two spells of the same name, Undertow, and they're different varieties and they have different effects because they have different sources.
So what I'm going to do, I'm going to email these to you, and you can insert them however you wish.
All right, that's awesome.
All right. So give us a couple other high level spells that you like. You want to go right to the big ones?
Man, there are some really awesome ones. Raise Raise Sandbar.
I see Raise Island.
Raise Island. That's high level. What level is that? That's
6.
Yeah.
Here's Raise Shipwreck. Raise Wreck. 6th level. There you go, Troy. This spell will bring the surface, wreck ships, and flotsam in the immediate area adjacent, as long as it's not been underwater longer than 6 months per caster level. So you can't do ancient ones.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, the ancient ones you could probably raise the ground or go down
Awesome.
There is one. I think it's 7th level. Maybe it's 8th. Ship Disrupt. It's like Finger of Death, but it's a ship.
Oh my gosh! It's 8th level.
I think it's.
So you notice we're getting smaller here. Sea Quake, Meteor Swarm. You put Meteor Swarm in here. I don't know about that. Oh my gosh. I don't care at that level. You know how many levels of those spellcasters we have in the campaign?
But it's you're only going to be able to do it at certain times.
Yeah.
Honestly. But
Sea Dike, Sea Volcano. Here's Raise Shipwreck with an asterisk. This is probably a longer time frame.
Yeah.
And I don't see it in the list here. Probably.
One is Raise Wreck, right?
Oh, here it is. Yeah. This is let me know. Ship of any size. It floats for the spell duration, which is longer, and it's any sunken ship any.
Right, because the first one was Raise Wreck, so that was something that it's obviously it has to be not so broken down, it's rotted apart. But Raise Shipwreck, you can.
Do you have a shift tide spell in here somewhere?
Have what?
Shifting the tide. Troy asks.
Oh, there's some. Yeah, there's True Tidal Wave, and there's Major Wave.
I saw that. I saw those titles.
True Tidal Wave.
Lee asks, is there a flying ship spell blue box used on this list?
Yes, there is.
There
is a flying ship spell. It's floating ship. Maybe?
Amy, wow, good
flying
to see Amy.
Ships. 6th level flying ships.
Good to see Amy. I know you were hopping on
6th level
Discord
flying
last
ships.
night. My voice is going, everyone. I've taught. So, I want to shout out someone. My son. Got the game-winning goal. They won 4-3. He kicked a beautiful kick. It hit the post, bounced right back to him, and then he kicked it in. So he hit the post the first. Yeah, it was great. So it was really nice to see today. I'm sorry.
Awesome.
Flying ship.
Flying ships. 6th level.
6th level. Till dispelled. 1 ship, half-hour casting time, 1 craft per ton per level of caster. Full flying is done at a height of 50 above the water at quadruple normal movement rates. The ship will fly until the sail is lowered. Okay, so it's not permanent. When they lower the sail, it goes down. Yeah. So, thank you. So, no, he won't. He won't forget that goal because it was the only goal of the year, believe it or not, too. So, yeah, he won't forget it. So,
there's some that are low level that you could easily see would be real handy for pirates, whatever. There's one barnacle growth. That's some.
What level?
It's 4th. I guess it's not that low level, but
that's okay. Well, 7th level caster.
It halves the movement of the ship because it forces this massive. It's like a massive growth of barnacles, and those are really a problem at sea. They have to be cleaned off every couple years. So, and if they're not,
and so slow down the ship.
Yeah, you slow down so you can cast it on your pursuers.
So a lot of
that is a great idea. Yeah.
Bye.
A lot of these spells, Amy, are from either there's 2 dragon articles, 235, and what's the other one? 235 and 2. Hold on one second. Let me pop this up.
235. A lot.
220, 235. Great Net Spellbook, signature spells, which is Pathfinder based, lost spells, and the magic pirate spells, all Pathfinder based.
Right.
Yeah. So that's where This is Tim's references for this.
So, well, there are a few players. There's a couple players handbook ones too.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Base ones, Arcane Player's Handbook, whichever. Yeah. So. Yep.
Like I know I tweaked because
That's cool.
lightning.
You spelled dragon wrong, by the way. DRGAO. Sorry.
Well, I don't know. But
What's this? Book of Lost Spells. There you go. There's the Book of Lost Spells. What it looks like.
Yeah.
So no, it's Frog Guide. Oh, cool. Our frogs. Oh, you know what? I'm gonna go order a hardback copy of this from PEX, because, by the way, we have Frog Guide has been kind enough for now. The fantasy mapping shows next Saturday. Everyone, they doubled the giveaways. Next Friday. Yes, thank you, Anna.
Yep.
They doubled the giveaways. There's going to be two $25 gift certificates every show now instead of one. So, but the December one is going to be galore. So, Megan, thank you. So, Tim, I'm going to say this is really fantastic. I just wanted to bust your stones a little bit, like I always do on the one thing. But,
How dare you.
yes. So, note the following. This will go into playtest. Tim will test it. I'll test it for about 2 to 5 years. Okay. So we're not going to be giving this out to anyone in the near future. Tim, you, just like he did with John at Blue Box, if there's some aspect you want of it or something that you are interested, or he can always help you with stuff. But we're when it goes like with Greyhawk Mage, I'm not giving out the Greyhawk Mage in its entirety until, but almost everything there is to know about it. So do sea mages get ice-based spells? Is the question from Rich.
I picked spells based on more whether it was about the sea, not about the ice. I don't see why they couldn't have something, but are they? I mean, seas don't usually freeze. I have lightning.
Well, look, here's what it says: Ice Ring right here. It says Ice Ring.
Well, that's another slow a ship down. You can make a ship get locked in ice. So yeah, I guess they could do it. But I wasn't thinking about elements as much as environment.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Right.
So environment and use for some. They have a couple like great ones. You take somebody's cell down, boom, spectral sail, and so you can repair it. And there's a couple where you can replace it temporarily with a magical sails. So that chain shot spell blows up your sails, boom, you can have magical spectral sails that'll take you still. You can outrun your enemy. Throw a ring of ice on them.
Ideas. I love it.
Throw some ice on them and leave them.
Mm-hmm.
They're jumping in the water. They fell in the water. There's scalding seas as a spell. So you can go to heat, you can microwave
cook them
people in the water.
Yeah.
So, there's fireproofing spells where you're casting it on the structure of the ship so it doesn't catch on fire. There's waterproofing spells. So I was looking for those sort of things. And then of course at super high levels, there's that true tidal wave, which can hit hit a shore 200 miles away because it's a real tidal wave, and the danger's real. But of course, they're 18th level, so. An 18th level wizard can stop time.
Yeah, 18th level can do a lot of things. Like
stop time.
There's spells. There's a spell called estate transference where you can take your whole land and move it to an elemental plane. That's in Tome of Magic. So there's crazy stuff.
Yeah, so
wish spells.
I think if you compare it to a regular mage.
So he said. So Rich is asking water mage. The near div would be a sea mage could be on the near div. Absolutely, sure. Right?
Yeah, that's a very large.
Yes. Now, maybe some rivers that connect to the sea, but this is basically ocean based.
It's not. I mean, the near deep is not. It's not fully landlocked. I mean, it has it has rivers that leave it, right?
Oh yes, you have necessary. It's like a huge. It's like the Mississippi. It's like
Troy's telling you
than the Mississippi in size.
Troy's telling you to look at the Leviathan creature that can cast tidal wave. So
and you have Salinton that is either a river or a partially man.
But remember, this is based on the Sea Prince's hold and that they have these mages. Because I told him, please make this Greyhawk based. All right. So this is what we decided. Now that doesn't mean that the Sea Barons couldn't have pilfered this idea, but just so we wanted to make a Greyhawk campaign based caster, like we did, like with the Greyhawk Mage, and there you go.
The original one was from the Judges Guild Pegasus magazine, which had no specific place, or I don't remember if I might have just changed it. It may have referenced a kingdom in the Wilderlands, but I don't recall that exactly. But
Right.
it was obviously Sea Princes are obviously a good choice.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Like all trades, somebody's going to be for hire. You know, you learn your magic stuff, and then you get a better offer from a an up and coming naval power. You might just go ahead and take that contract.
So, real quick, because we got a lot of new viewers on, and if you're okay with this, I want Tim to describe
Yeah,
his
please.
Wilderlands campaign.
This is great. I love
Okay,
it.
Tim, explain when once in a blue moon I get to play Dervelia and Kixana, what happens in your Wilderlands campaign
Okay.
or city state? Yeah,
City state. Well, I guess I forget when I created a world, and I was using elements from Judge's Guild because I only had what my dad had kind of bought, and it included the city state of the Invincible Overlord. So I kind of built like a world of my own around that. And so Jay and the other fellas were gaming there. We played there for a while, and
mostly myself, Mark, and Walt.
Yeah, and I put the city state from the Invincible Overlord from Judge's Guild there in the world, and I kind of built the lands kind of around it. And so we adventured there a lot. And so one of the first adventures I ran was the Veiled Society. I think is that B4? B6?
Yeah, Kartha Radu and all that. Yep, absolutely.
Kartha Radu was a bad guy in it. I like him. He got away in that one. And at some point in their adventuring, they ended up they got abandoned on an island, and you were sitting there, and in time kind of you didn't realize how much time was passing. They got stuck there like 200 years, but they didn't feel like it was 200 years.
Right.
So they got back and they adventured some more, and things were weird. Accents were weird. Styles were different. It was like a little confusing. They make their way to the city state. Well, who has been around for 200 years and really hates these people that he bumps into again? Kartha Radu.
Right.
So he's a high-level fighter, now a 20th level mage, and he's the arch villain that's trying to kill them in this tower outside. They defeat him and seize his property. So now they are nobles outside the city-state. And instead of forcibly removing them, the Overlord thought they were more or less a stabilizing element. And since they paid their taxes on time, he actually, 2 adventures ago and 1 adventure, knighted them and actually gave them titles and such. So
after 35 years,
finally,
of playing. I only have 2 characters. It's not like my campaign where my players have 70 characters. I have 2.
Right.
Yes. So it's fun. And
and half of the party had thief classes, so they all have their own thieves guild. So they are like, keeping an eye on things.
I have a fallen paladin, and her name's Dervelia. She was lawful good, and she's settled in lawful neutral at this point. So she couldn't handle being a paladin. Just
all the thieves corrupted her.
Yeah. She just has too nasty of a temper. She gets angry very easily. She gets angry at incompetence. So, yeah, that's troubling. I just wanted to, because I know you'd ask the question when I get to play, and that's my favorite one. I get to play.
One of the last couple games we did, I had the great pleasure of actually freeze framing and capturing Jay's face when I freaked him out and terrified him.
Yes.
And
yes, I was Kixana was scared shitless at that. Yeah, that was a scary moment. So just note that, and it's on stream. It's if you go into the Tim section of YouTube for Tim's City State game, you could find it. It's probably 2 or 3 back. Yeah, it was scary.
Yeah.
So, but look at that. We've already been on like 2 hours here. It's crazy.
Yeah, this was,
and we haven't even scratched the
Thank
surface.
Yep.
So with all this stuff. Yes, you kept the lawful part because you need organization to run an estate and pay taxes. And if you don't, the Overlord, you do not pay taxes on time, or you're gonna get trouble. We saw the Overlord kill his half brother right in front of us.
That's right. Right before they got recognized,
because he was messing around in the harem. He told him not to, and one time, if you fail the second time, he killed him right in front of us as a lesson. Kind of what happened at the beginning of Papillon. Remember what happens at the beginning of Papillon when they get on the island and they cut the guy's head off? Kind of sends a message, don't. I know. Now I'm really dating myself. So with Papillon, so we need a meme. Oh my God, a head cut off meme or something. So once again, if I get if I finally, after whenever we submit the 12th application, get it, I have another 20 I have another 20 things that will open up. So I'll have plenty of them for all this fun stuff. So yeah. You're good. They remade it, but come on, the original one with McQueen and Dustin Hoffman's awesome. So
I read the book. I read the
Scare
book.
J meme, yeah, we can have that. So this is what we'll do. We touched a lot of places here, but we'll continue this discussion in the future. We'll go into some more specifics, on certain classes again, or maybe some ideas that you may have, or we'll concentrate on an area. I think I really want to revisit Elementalists, another episode on that. It was a long time ago, especially because they're so varied and there's 6 different ones. Yep. What's that?
I am playing with a in the underdogs. I use the Footprint Magazine Sorcerer class, and I tweaked it to be an elementalist sort of. It's like a sorcerer out of that, but it's elementalist. Cool. So basically like a basic elementalist where everything is earth, air, fire, water related. So that's the only access to spells they have. So because it's kind of, has nature druidical elements, basic elements to it, and it's that sort of primitive sorcerer type magic. So that's what I'm using. So I have a limited spell list for that as well.
Anna, sorry we've been cutting you off for the last 40 minutes.
This is good. It was an awesome discussion, and Tim came. I babbled the first 2 hour and a half, so I got my fair share and then some. So yeah.
And thank you all for the support over the last couple of nights. I mean, last night was an unbelievable game. Like I said, the Slav squatters. I learned a new term last night. We'll be back soon, because everyone had such fun, and along with 2 drink minimum, they'll be back soon too, and Ed will be back shortly too. So we will continue this discussion, and for the next 2 weeks we don't have Gabbins written out, but decided. But in 3 weeks, I know we'll go over that in a second. So when we do some shout outs here and talk about some things, then we'll do the giveaways. Remember, the first winner of this Adventurer's Backpack will get the signed copy, and I'll explain to you what you need to do. And let me hit this and go back to the main screen here for a minute or two. So, Tim, what's going on in your world?
Well, I'll do a shout out for my players who were in the underdogs last Saturday morning.
Poor Alex. He's gonna get a new character.
If you want to see how you get a player character to kill another player character, perfect example.
Yes.
And so anyway, I just want to say that. And then I'm looking forward to playing my Battletech. I know it may be a spoiler, but Battletech character Hikaru Wakafuji, when he climbs back into the cockpit of the Feng Shui, his favorite mech.
A Centurion.
With
I think we think, I haven't looked at the sheet, that it's modified. He has a rear flamer on it instead of a medium laser with the rear.
He can run and set the field on fire and create a smoke screen, burning things.
It's perfect.
The Rough Riders like to burn things. So,
yes, but this is going to be the new. We'll get to that shortly on the shout out and showing what we got in store. I just went out of order here.
I'm also looking forward to Wilderness of Pain 2.
Yes. So what are you gonna do with Alex? You gonna give him a new character, or?
Yes, we have to do that.
Okay.
I don't think we're going to see Red Fist next time.
Well, yeah, because he ran off with a.
So I created ice sprites, which are like evil. Imagine a dryad, but ice related and evil.
Yep.
And in the game, I described their little ice pit. It's terrifying. I was scared myself when I was making it. And they charmed the stupid barbarian.
Oh, gosh.
And so he ran off with them. And they were the ones luring all the children away to be sacrificed to Shakak, the winter spirit. So I'm not sure how he's going to do.
Someone said that they played Car Wars a lot too. I'm looking forward to everything, and you know, it took a long time. We haven't had, you know, but I'll get to that as I'm babbling now. Tim, thanks for hopping on, man. You know, I really
Sure, thank
appreciate
you.
it.
I'm sorry
Scaring
it
me
took
with a
a little
Negan
while.
costume, and we'll get this Sea Mage fleshed out. Is Crystal Ion going to be your Sea Mage? And you're going to change your name too, right? I mean, yeah, I imagine, yeah. One of the sons of son and daughter of Skeeve. So, alrighty,
That
Anna,
is
what's
me
going
again.
on?
A lot of it. First time I have to say I'm sorry to everyone. I haven't answered all the emails. I have like for 3 or 4 days pent up emails and responses to my Patreon blog and a couple of other things. So it's coming. I'm going to sit down tomorrow and or tomorrow take the first like 3 hours and go over all the answers and do some email and stuff. But in the meantime, so I've been busy and I'm almost done with the Hepmona land for the final tweak, so to speak. So very soon there will be, in a couple of days, there will be an update to my patrons. You will see Hepmona land ready for the final touch-up. So all the rivers are in place, all the stuff is in the right place. We just need to tweak some edges here and there, and things are a little bit harsh and some contrast and stuff like that. But all the features are in place. So now I'm working on some of the other parts of the map to tweak it. And also I got Cannibal Troy Elements. I got his map from his atlas. So I'm tweaked some of the things. So we will try and make it match as much as possible. So I've also gone over like Near Döv and a bunch of others that have been sorely neglected for 20 years to get the depth and stuff to work. And there will be a bunch of other additions and stuff. So this is the map is almost 50% bigger now than it used to be. And it's some of the parts that are coming looks better than the original bits. And it's kind of cool to have it, and I hope that I will have it out by Christmas, but we'll see. It might be that the Atlas might slip into next year, but the main map and stuff will be done by Christmas. I'm pretty sure, because I'm working really hard to get the final in, and I just wanted to add Hepmona land and touch up some of the other bits of the map and stuff. So there's a lot of little bits here and there, and when it comes to the terrain, this is the second time I've upgraded the map in 20 years. So this is by far the biggest update. So there's a lot of stuff that is coming. And also I've done a bunch of heraldry, more heraldry. So it's coming a new bunch of probably about 10, 15 or 20 or something like that coming fairly soon, coming next week as well. So those are the big things. And then we have, of course, the fantasy mapping show on Friday.
Yes.
Yep, with Joe Wetzel from Inkwell Ideas is the one, the man behind tools like Hexographer, now Worldographer, that has all the different tools he had is now merged into one. It's kind of, yeah, it's kind of cool. And he's kind of an expert on hexes because his tools are based on hexes. So and he's a great guy. So it will be awesome to have him as a guest. And we will talk about hexes, one of these kind of love them or hate them, but they've been part of fantasy cartography, and even more so maybe in sci-fi cartography, but they're on the Darlene map. So we need to talk about them. So that's why we need to talk about the virtues and the pitfalls of hexes, and then some, and then talk about with Joe and Alyssa Faden and Jay and me. We will discuss, and please come with questions, ideas, and stuff like that too. And also thank you to everyone who came to my stream. I have like, I think I have up to like 12 people on my stream, and it was probably the most boring mapping stream I've had so far. I've said they always are like paint dry, but this one was terrible because I didn't want to spill the beans on the new map update. So I didn't want to do that yet. It's coming in one of the later ones when it's almost ready and my patrons have seen it. That's when I will do a live stream. and if people in the general public can get a good view of it. So it will come in early December. I will do some of the final touch-ups in a mapping live stream and sit and do some tweaks and stuff on it. So, and I will also do a lot of the updating symbols and stuff like that. I will probably do a mapping live stream of that too. coming. So that is, yeah, so that is coming. There will also be some settlements and some stuff for my mid-level patrons. You will get some special heraldry, you will get some special write-up on Bugford and a couple of other settlements and some maps. This stuff is coming, and there will be, my mid-tier patrons have been neglected for the past 2 years. That is going to change this spring, because
Awesome.
that's the tier, the $3 tier is where you get my campaign material and not only the basics. There will be a ton of stuff next year, because all the cool stuff that I'm going to do for D&D in a castle will come to my patrons, and they will come to my $5 a month and $3 a month patrons will get that. And there will be special heraldry, backstories, and stuff like that, and settlements and ideas and stuff like that coming. So it's kind of, yeah, it's trickling out. The problem is that several of these projects are huge, meaning they take months to do. But so far I've got good comments, and I think Hipona Land, I think you will like Hipona Land. It's cool. It's better looking than the original map, but it's still the same style. They fit together. That's the idea.
So
yeah.
Anna, thank you. We got a lot going on. I mean, I'm just like, I got all this swirling in my head right now. So much stuff. So let's go through it here. Great show coming Wednesday. And so I said to Mike, Greyhawk Mage Bridges, I said, Mike, go through your old blog posts. What interests you want to talk about? And so this is the one we came up, Rulers of Greyhawk, right? Wow. So we've never discussed them, man. And this was a great pick by you, you two. I love this.
Yeah.
This is going to be a really fun one because I don't know that much about most of them. All I know is what's in the glossography, and most of them is just classes, you know. So this will be a really cool show coming up on Wednesday. That'll kick off next week.
I think it's a good one. We and there's so many different types of rulers and how you can use them and tweak them a bit and stuff in your campaign. It's one of the main campaign assets, I think, and they can be both villains and helpers and stuff. Yeah.
We finish up Tribulations in the Gravemore, and this is going to be a nasty fight because sorry, Bill and anyone else who's on, my brain dead guys did not realize they're fighting another clone of someone, but this time this character, the Necromancer from the Covenant Necromancers out near the High Pass, she's in the original Star Cairns. Her name's Yellick, and she's got the limp arm. I'm giving this away to all you now, just so. But she's a dude this time, right? So I said the limp guy with the limp arm, blonde hair, and they just it went right over their head. So yeah, she got cloned as a guy this time, right? So first time. Yes, so it's gonna be a nasty fight because this clone
Do
of
you know how
Yellick
many
is
blonde-haired people they've killed? They
yeah, but with a limp arm and on a Necromancer. So it's just I think they were tired. I mean, Walt could barely stay awake. You know, so we finished at 10:45.
Sleepwalked into a fight. Yep.
Yeah, so that will be on Thursday. Friday, the Fantasy Mapping Show Hexes. We got 4 streams coming up this week, by the way. So Friday, the Fantasy Mapping Show.
Fantasy mapping and which NPCs?
What's that? What?
It could be fantasy mapping in which NPCs, because it's about hexes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that is that. And then next week, Gabbin, I don't know what the topic is. I don't know what the topic is for the week after, but I do know what the topic is for December 5th. Oops, I forgot this. Let's do this first. So yeah, duh. This is before that. The day after Thanksgiving, Solaris 7, the new recruits. It'll be 8 characters, 2 lances. The following community people will be playing: Canadian Ancient Gamer, Phantom NJ, Balfrin, which and Chuck Gumbo is playing. He wants to play in it because he wants to play with Tim. So he thinks that nothing bad will happen to him with Tim. Tim and myself are playing. I'm going to be GMing it. I can't say DM in this case. And our sons are going to be playing this on live stream. So how old is your son? 10 or 9?
10.
10. 10 and 11-year-old are going to be playing. So that'll be, and we're going to have some fun.
So cool.
We're going to reintroduce Battle. It's been 2 years since I've done the BattleTech stream. We're going to have some fun with it. Let's get it on. Exactly. Yeah, Balfrin's all where you're going to get blasted. So it's going to be a base story. New recruits, you guys kind of suck or whatever. You're all 4 or 5s, except for Hikaru, of course. And he's a 3-4, 3-5, one of those. He fits in fine. There's Chuck. Can't wait. Yeah. I'm glad to see you're on still, Chuck. That's wonderful.
Well, everyone should know,
Yeah.
Jay doesn't. A lot of times when you play BattleTech, it's player versus player or teams fighting each other. Jay kind of runs it like a scenario, so he's running the scenario. So everybody playing is basically on the same team.
Yeah, they're not fighting each other. No,
but people don't necessarily know that. That's why it's because
you're all on the same team. Yeah, you're all you're on the Cross-Sword stables, which is the Hearthguard stables. You're mech jocks, and you're not doing very well on the mech circuit. But so a lot of you, there's 2 mercenary units, the Hearthguards. Isn't it funny we have Hearthguard Tower? I think I stole it from here actually, and the Black Riders.
I was going to say I've heard that name before.
Yes, that's where I got Hearthguard. Yeah, the shield. Yeah, the Hearthguards and the Black Riders and Bill's
crossovers.
Yep,
that was cool.
And so and they want to join those units. This will be like a trial by fire. So it'll be fun. It'll be a one-shotter and get back in rank. C or D ranked. The Hearthguards are A+, the Black Riders are A-. There you go, if you want to know. They go back to the early 3000 pre-Fourth Succession Wars. The Hearthguards do. I think they have 48 missions, 46 wins and 2 losses.
I have a company, and then in the Black Riders.
Yeah. Yeah, the Black Riders are A-, and you have a whole entire company. Yes, you do in the Black Riders. So. Yep, it'll be fun. So that's that. And then December 5th. Ed Greenwood, Eric Mangy. I think Eric's coming too. Ed's definite. I talked to Ed today. So yeah, JB's Rough Riders is your whole company. So Secret Societies of Greyhawk in the Realms is going to be the topic. So we get into some of that for both. And Ed's going to come with more lore, and it'll be a fun time.
Yeah.
Jay, if you tell them, it won't be a secret anymore.
Well, I'm trying to convince Gary to join us for this.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm trying.
That would be perfect. Yep.
Yes. We'll play, and getting back to Battlefield, I'm hoping this opens up another genre for us on stream, once in a blue moon, along with the Saturday night specials, just to keep things going and keeping, because we're all about having fun here. All right, I've babbled enough, and if I forgot something, that's my fault here. So let me get to back here. So everyone, thank you. Our numbers are fantastic. Thanks. I'm thinking that we hold over this 100 average for a lot. I mean, hey, what are they going to say this time? I mean, it's been 11 times, so I'm trying to get there. I really am.
Yep.
We're doing our best for the community, and I really appreciate.
Yeah, I have to say thank you. I'm over 300 patrons, so I'm
beautiful.
This makes it possible to do all the cool stuff that I try to do. So thank you everyone for helping me do this. Yep.
Fantastic. And Tim, thank you for coming on. Let's do these giveaways, okay? Remember, the first winner will get the signed copy of the Adventurer's Backpack in hard copy. Alrighty, here we go. Closing out the winner. You gotta be on to claim it. Have to be on to claim this. Keith Rogier, Keith. I see you on. You're gonna come up and claim. We are waiting. Will he? Yes, there you go. All right, Keith. I believe I have your address, but I'm going to give you a code, and you're going to put it in, and I'm going to give your information to Chuck via Discord, and he's going to link it up with Steven to make sure you get the signed copy. Okay? Awesome. All right, that's first winner. Second winner. This is another hard copy. Jim Seguia. Hey, great. I don't have to send it to Canada. That's on the Jim,
that's
grats.
A good thing with digital stuff.
Yes. Yeah. Now this is a hard copy. So Rogier, Jim Seguia. Jim on? Is Jim on to claim? I'm looking. There you go. Oh,
Take
you
it
want
to-
digital? Okay, Jim, that's very kind of you because since you're in Canada, very cool. I'll give you digital. Thank you. All right, so here we go. That we got another. We got the hard copy again. Thank you very much for that. 2000 Caesar, who's always like one of the first people on every night. He and yeah, uh, 2000 Caesar on to claim that Caesar. All right, so as we're waiting for Caesar, who sometimes is, we go to the next winner, Rob. Rob, do you already have it? Rob, if you already have it and you want to give it to someone else, you tell me who. All right, Caesar, hard copy. You got it. Grats. Okay. So, Rob, you can tell me who you, because if you already have it, you can cede it to someone. And David Leonard, snafu, another Canadian. And David, I'm going to give a pass to because of David gets up at 4 o'clock in the morning, and I'm going to give him. He never has. I don't think he's ever won anything. So I'm gonna let David go on the digital because I know he has special hardcore hours. I think we're all in agreement that, and plus he's earned it for what he does with his blog. That's everyone. So I didn't hear from Rob Phantom. I didn't hear from Rob. Rob may be hiding off somewhere. I'll get with Rob and he'll pick someone in the community to give it out to. Okay.
Because I'm on.
Thank you all, everyone, for a wonderful evening. Give me a little bit, and I'll get the codes out. I'll either get the codes out late tonight or tomorrow morning, depending. I gotta do some things with my son after this. So, see you all. Oh, you're on. Okay, David. Good. I'll get you the code. Okay, you won, man. I'll Discord it to you. Congrats, man. Good. Anything in closing, Anna?
Thank you, everyone, for
Yes.
coming. It's awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
And thank you, Jay, and Tim. Yeah.
Cool, David. You got it, man. Thank you. So,
Good to see you guys.
really appreciate it. Note, I am off most of December for work because I just have all this time. I'm going to be planning. I'll try to be planning a lot of special events over this December. PAX Unplugged's coming.
Jay
So
and me
it's a
are
cool
going
thing.
to do some special
Yes.
projects too. Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, we are. Yes, we are.
Yeah.
Hey, Stella. Thanks. We'll see you all soon. We're going to raid. Hang in. We're going to raid into Rosie Applebottom. Okay, Darling Creepshow. She's got a D&D game going on right now. All right, so please hang in there and let's go in and talk to and give her some nice follows and stuff. She's fantastic. Did a great job last night. Her and Little Bones and Mandy and Myriad and Josh. It was a fun game, and we will do some things. Carlos is really busy, Scottish, and I did something with Carlos. I mean, I did Hool, so I try all the time, but we'll try and get some stuff going. All right, I'm gonna see you Wednesday. Have a good one, and thank you, and keep on gaming.
Good night.
Yeah, let's raid into Darling Creep Show. All right, give me 1 second. And by the way, the number we did hit 6,700 followers. Thank you.
All right.
Yep.
I can only watch on my phone, so I couldn't tell anyone's name on the typing at first last night. So which one was she? Was she at the top left?
She was Rosie Applebottom. Yeah, she was on the low. Yeah, she was in the top left.
Oh.
No, she was middle top. 91 5 4 3 2 1. See you all soon. Oh, she's gonna go crazy. 90 people coming in.
.93 rating. Oh, okay. Yep.
Alrighty.